border. FoxValleyCoins.com. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
If you need custom boxes and crates, expert packing and crating, import-export transloading with heavy lift capability, the DC Group delivers. It all started 51 years ago with DC Export and Domestic Packing, the hard work of founders Dominic and Carol Cochamiglio. Their family's desire to exceed customer expectations, backed by an incredible team and loyal customers, is now driving expansion. From their humble roots in a garage-sized building to 100,000 square feet in the Chicago area, 45,000 in Greenville, and a new Houston facility, they're coast to coast. And their sister company, DC Transport, handles everything from container drayage to super heavy haul loads across North America since 1991. Whether it's packing and crating, transloading, transportation service, or trade shows, the DC Group delivers. Those that attended FabTech 2025, we'd love to hear from you. Get your quote now at dcexport.com. That's dcexport.com, your trusted logistics partner.
Ready for some holiday magic? Pack up the family and cruise over to Go-Bird's Farm in Pingree Grove, where 2 incredible Christmas light shows are waiting to light up your night. First up, the Go-Bird's Christmas Drive-Thru Light Show. We're talking millions of lights synchronized to music that'll have you cranking up the volume. Picture this: dancing penguins getting their groove on, snowflakes cascading all around you, reindeer galloping through enchanted fields, plus a dazzling tunnel of lights that's pure Christmas magic. But wait, there's more. The legendary Larson Christmas Light Show, the one everyone's been raving about from Campton Hills, is now right here on the Go-Bird's property. 30 minutes of jaw-dropping lights, spectacular special effects, and surprise character visits that'll make the kids lose their minds with excitement. Here's the best part: you can experience both shows in one epic night. Perfect for families, couples, or even your company party bus. Because yes, limos and party buses are totally welcome. Per vehicle pricing keeps it affordable, but grab your tickets online now because these shows are selling fast. Visit GoBirds.com for tickets, times, and all the details. Go-Bird's Farm, where Christmas dreams come to life.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
Hey guys, it's not enough to manipulate your testosterone by getting those shots. Did you ever stop to ask, why is my testosterone level so low anyway? Well, if you're a Y guy like me, I've got something for you to think about. Hormone levels get skewed not with age. Hormones get skewed by poor lifestyle habits. Our male hormone test can help us find the why behind your male hormone challenges. So give us a call and get your male hormone test today. Pumping hormones into your bloodstream is not the answer, not without the many health risks associated. Stop tampering with your hormones, because if you don't, you'll probably live long enough to regret it. So from one Y guy to another Y guy, let's get her done the right way, the only way, taking more natural steps towards healthy hormone balance and performance today. It's our male hormone test. No blood, just spit. Call 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. It's HealthQuest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Hi, this is Sean Morrison, owner of Morrison Security Corporation. Here in Chicagoland, we see it all. Rising crime, civil unrest, and growing concerns for the safety of our families, our schools, our places of worship, and our businesses. Every American has a right, the Second Amendment right, to protect what matters most. At Morrison Security, we take that responsibility seriously. For over 25 years, we've been on the front lines, providing licensed, highly trained security officers, men and women committed to professionalism, reliability, and results. We stand for truth, honesty, and integrity, and we bring those values to every client we protect. Whether you need coverage for a school, a church, a retail location, construction site, or corporate facility, our mission is simple: protect people and property with excellence and accountability. Morrison Security Corporation. Protection you can trust, integrity you can count on. I am Sean Morrison, and you have my word: honesty and integrity always. Visit MorrisonSecurity.com. That's MorrisonSecurity.com.
Jenny McGuire is the fresh, bold, unapologetic voice of common sense, constitutional values, and conservative principles. With her sharp wit, she'll tackle the issues that matter most: faith, family, and freedom. Join her and featured guests each week on the Unsafe Space radio show, heard Saturday evening at 7 right here on AM 560 The Answer. And follow Jenny on Facebook at The Unsafe Space with Jenny McGuire.
In a shocking new 5-part series from Kevin Sorbo, Prescription to Kill reveals a lethal FDA cover-up.
Americans have witnessed a dramatic rise in mass killings at a school, a house of worship, a crowded theater, a packed concert, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. But what's behind this sudden surge of lethal violence? One determined researcher cracked open the FDA vault, exposing for the first time secret files linking prescription drugs to mass shootings and infamous murders.
There is a reason that we are the leader in unprovoked mass murder in this country, and it's our over-prescription of psychiatric drugs. There's no doubt about it.
In Prescription to Kill, we investigate the hidden connection between the pharmaceutical industry and America's culture of violence.
What their doctor doesn't know could kill you. Discover the truth that could save many lives. Don't miss Prescription to Kill. Watch it now on salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
Perhaps you're a collector, or perhaps all of a sudden you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Sean Thompson for Donley Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donley Auctions with their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions. They have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonleyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donley does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers, it's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
The voice for the new right, charting a new path forward for American conservatism. It's the Josh Hammer Show.
What is the alternative to engaging with your political opponents? To hearing out their criticism in as happy warrior-like fashion as you can have it. The day that we replace that with, God forbid, with violence, that's how republics die. There is nothing good down that road.
The Josh Hammer Show on the Salem Podcast Network. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Don't get stuck with a cold shower this fall. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Don't wait. The cold temperatures are coming, and the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this fall special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one, no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive fall special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Hear sound teaching from God's Word from Dr. David Jeremiah on Turning Point. Each weekday morning at 9:30 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
If you or someone you love are getting high quotes for dental implants, visit almostfreeteeth.com today. With a medical PPO insurance plan, it's possible to save 90% off on average to be able to smile again. Check if you qualify now at almostfreeteeth.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will become windier and chilly with a mix of clouds and sun. A snow shower is expected this morning, followed by clearing skies in the afternoon. The high will reach 41. Tonight will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. So, well, first of all, happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all the men and women who serve our country honorably have served our country honorably and the armed services. Take your calls, too, if you have a special, and text if you have a special shout-out you want to make on this Veterans Day. In addition, I have to offer an expression of happy birthday to my father, who turned 82 today. Anyway, and to my former colleague, too, Amy Jacobson. I always remember her birthday because, obviously, it's my dad's. And it's Veterans Day. Easy to remember. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, the fallout from the end of the furlough of non-essential workers, that was on display yesterday as the long knife seemed to be out for Schumer. So, I mean, if you're scoring at home, there seems to be much more disaffection among the Dem socialists than there is among Republicans. That's the good news. We talked about it quite a bit yesterday. It's just the thing that rankles me is just it's the opportunity to get into a conversation, as we had with Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. Number one, about his sort of end shutdowns altogether act, which maybe will get new life, considering that this deal only takes us to January 30. I mean, it takes us to next September for things like SNAP benefits, veterans benefits. But the point is, we're still on this merry-go-round, and we want to get off. I think we do. So that was one aspect of it. But the other aspect was, of course, all these things that maybe we should rethink how we do them, like air traffic control. Maybe we should take the funding of core services from the federal government out of this political arena if we're unable to end shutdowns with some sort of legislation like Ron Johnson sponsored. It's an opportunity to say, okay, let's now have some dialogue about things the government should and should not be doing. More to the point, what it should not be doing, since it already does so many things that it shouldn't be doing based on, performance. But anyway, in terms of the day-to-day politics of it, there's definitely more disarray among the Dem socialists. Trump sat down with Laura Ingraham for an extended interview, and he addressed this issue of preventing being back in the same place shortly after the first of the year if nothing is done, given the disposition of these Dems and the disgust so many of them have that you had 8 senators cut this deal with Republicans to bring this to an end.
Well, we're trying to put in a bill, as you know, the bill or a bill, that you can never do that again. You can't just shut down the government because you're trying to renegotiate a deal that you didn't. Don't forget, when we passed the great big beautiful bill, which gives you tremendous middle income tax benefits and it gives so much to everybody. Think of it. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax, very importantly, on overtime. If you work overtime, you don't have to pay tax. So many other things. It gives you a deduction if you buy a car, you borrow money. You put a loan on a car, you're allowed to deduct the interest. That's never happened in our country before. That's always been for the richer people. They're allowed to take deductions. Now you can deduct interest on a car. So we have tremendous goodies in there. They like to try and disparage it. Oh, it's the greatest bill ever passed in the history of our country. That's why we did it all in one. It's 4 years worth of goodies, and it's largely for jobs and for the middle class and for security.
The big, beautiful bill and all of its goodies. But point being is that this was an attempt to leverage their favorite word, concessions after the fact, right? They didn't have the votes to stop the big, beautiful bill, and this was one way they could try to extract some concessions and really, I think, mainly just signal to their hysterical base that they are full on with the resistance. They are full on with the most vocal and volatile and vituperative elements of their coalition. And it was interesting to hear perspective from Angus King, who's, an independent, who's a socialist, who caucuses with the Dem Socialists. But, they like to pretend to be independent up there in, New England. He's from Maine, of course. Angus King was on Morning Joe explaining why, he never supported the shutdown and why he was part of the team that negotiated the end of it.
Well, Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power, Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown? Not the park rangers or air traffic controllers, the ICE agents. Under special law, under that big, awful bill that they passed last summer, the ICE agents are being paid. Nobody else is. So standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It actually gave him more power. And then secondly, and I've been a big supporter of the ACA, the idea of forcing the Republicans to the table to negotiate on that issue by virtue of a shutdown didn't work. It's now the longest shutdown in American history, and there was no prospect that it was going to work. I've talked to a lot of my Republican colleagues. The chances of negotiating a settlement in the midst of the shutdown were zero. As of last night, we now have a guaranteed vote on a bill on the ACA subsidies, something that is unprecedented in my experience in the Senate. And so we have a shot at it. Right. I'll take those odds any day.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good spin because Angus King knows that the base is apoplectic about this. So it's, I couldn't stand by and watch ICE agents be paid and not our park rangers and air traffic controllers and so on and so forth. So I did this for them, the good federal workers that, are a core constituency. And this is why Tim Kaine was involved. But I'll tell you one thing. One of the 8, and we didn't get into it too deeply yesterday, but one of the 8 was our very own outgoing Senator Sack of Durbin. And I get, Dick Durbin can take the hit because he's a lame duck, so he doesn't care. He's insulated from political fallout. But I don't think he does that. He's in leadership. I don't think he does that without Chuck Schumer's support. So the Chuck Schumer thing is really interesting to watch because, he put out a message. He's all upset about this and the fight continues and so on and so forth. But he clearly, it seems to me, he clearly had to sanction Durbin to cut the deal and be done with it. And now he's got to, put on his sad face, put on, Pagliacci Schumer, try to muster some tears of rage.
Democrats have been fighting to get the Senate to address the health care crisis. This bill does nothing to ensure that crisis is addressed. I am voting no, and I will keep fighting.
Yeah. He's mad as hell, and he's not going to take it anymore from Trump. You can count on Chucky Schumer, but I don't think the base is buying it. I do not. It's the base of his party. I don't think they're buying it, and I think, and certainly keen observers will note the Durbin inclusion there and say, okay, so you're going to do your performative act for the base, but you gave a wink and a nod to this deal. Of course you did. And I think some people know that, which is why you have people stepping out like Ro Khanna from California saying it's time for Chuck Schumer to exit stage left.
Well, I'm unhappy because people's health care premiums are going to spike. Yesterday, when I was at Fort Worth Airport waiting 6 hours because of all the delays, someone came up running to me and he said, look, my father's insurance in Arizona, who's a taxi cab driver, is going to go up from $44 a month to $2,600 a month. That is outrageous.
Bull jive,
the Democrats
fictional.
should have fought for some help, protect that taxi driver and for 20 million people around America like that.
How much of this do you put at the feet of Charles Schumer, the Democratic leader in the Senate?
most of it. I mean, he's the leader of the Senate. This deal would never have happened if he had not blessed it. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of other senators who are saying that they kept Senator Schumer in the loop the whole time. Look, I've worked with Senator Schumer. He did an incredible job on the CHIPS Act, on the IRA, on infrastructure, but it's time for him to be replaced. He is not meeting the moment. He's out of touch with where the party's base is.
So that's kind of fun to watch this play out, the effort to depose Chuck Schumer in the Senate, which is clearly afoot. And as you heard from Ro Khanna, other senators told him that they were apprising Schumer of the deal making as it was happening. Of course. Yeah. Okay, do it, and I have to be a no, and I'm going to be pounding my fists, and we fight on, and all this stuff because I have to pretend. I don't think he's going to get away with it. By the way, Ro Khanna. First of all, the idea that anybody would recognize Ro Khanna in an airport in Fort Worth, did he say? Highly doubtful. Number two, that anecdote about my taxi driver father is going to go from, what was it, like $50 a month to $22,000 and some of it? Nonsense. What the extension of the Obamacare subsidies we're talking about are for Americans that are at 400% plus of poverty level. We're talking about 125 to nearly 500 grand is the cohort. That's one successful taxi driver in Arizona or wherever he said. Give me a break. Corey Woodlawn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. I want to give a shout out to Richard McGregor, USS Navy, World War II veteran. He passed away last year, 99, married to my grandmother for 76 years. She's still with us. I wanted to give a shout out to him. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, Dan. Great. Thanks, Corey. And thank you for your grandfather's service, you, your family, him. Coming up at 5:38, we'll fold in a little bit more on the acrimony within the ranks of the left over this deal to end the furlough of some non-essential federal workers. And then get on to something Peter Thiel had to say about the kids' fascination with socialism these days. That's at 5:38. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 27 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The Senate has voted 60-40 to pass a bill to reopen the government. Now it heads to the House of Representatives. In a remark on the Senate floor after the vote, Senate Majority Leader John Thune says that this has been a long road, the longest, in fact, at a record 41 days so far.
And with that, after 6 excruciating weeks, I will stop talking and let all of you get some rest.
The bipartisan measure funds the government through January 30th, resumes SNAP benefits, gives back pay to federal workers, and includes a vote next month on health care subsidies. The House will vote on it this week, and if it fails, the shutdown will continue indefinitely. A Mexican national has been arrested in connection with a shooting the Department of Homeland Security says was targeted at U.S. Border Patrol agents here in Chicago. DHS says that the suspect was in the country illegally and has had previous convictions. This news report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk available at straighttalk.com or Walmart. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now
Scott Jennings explains the differences between right and left.
It has been maddening to me to see the Democratic Party, the liberal movement, the radical progressives, turn on Israel over the last couple of years. What distinguishes us from the radical left? The ability to tell the difference between right and wrong.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
When age-related health issues arise, don't just treat the body, treat the soul. For over 130 years, Lutheran Life has provided nonprofit, Christ-centered care for seniors. Arlington Heights, Ottawa, Bloomington, and Crown Point. 4 Lutheran Life communities to serve all your needs for assisted living, memory care, nursing, and rehab. Find out how by visiting LutheranLifeCommunities.org today. That's LutheranLifeCommunities.org.
Are you prepared for the Illinois state tax? If your estate is worth over $4 million, your heirs could face a tax bill of up to 16% when you pass. Financial advisor Scott Tucker and the team at Scott Tucker Solutions can show you ways to potentially reduce or even eliminate that burden. One strategy is to start gifting assets during your lifetime to lower the taxable value of your estate. Another option is setting up irrevocable trusts, which can shield wealth from estate taxes. Charitable donations and life insurance policies can also be smart tools to offset tax liabilities. Call Scott Tucker and the Scott Tucker Solutions team now, 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. That's 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicolaus & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay. And it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will become windier and chilly with cloudy skies and a snow shower in the morning. Clouds will gradually give way to some sunshine in the afternoon with a high of 41. Tonight it will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft. We are talking about those who served our country honorably. Talking about our veterans on this Veterans Day. And we're also talking about those who serve our country dishonorably. Members of Congress, generally speaking. A few exceptions. As the fallout from the coming end of the furlough of non-essential federal workers is upon us. And the Dems, none too happy, the Dem socialist base, none too happy that what they feel. Schumer and Senate Democrats surrendered, caved. But before we get to that, veterans, and again, calls, 312-642-5600, Turkey.pro text line and answer line. If you would like to recognize a specific veteran, happy to aid with those recognitions. Text from 312, morning from Bonacqua, Tennessee. Bill Lee there, not Spaceman Bill Lee, the other one, the governor of Tennessee. Open invitation to New York City denizens who would like to bring their business to Tennessee from Mamdani land. Interesting. But before we get to more of that business, those serving dishonorably in D.C., this on Veterans Day, even though this op-ed was penned in advance of 4th of July, Independence Day, it still is appropriate. This is from 6 years ago, but like on days like this where we think about the men and women who served our country with distinction, I always think of Harry Stewart, this Tuskegee Airman who penned this very succinct but poignant op-ed in the Wall Street Journal back before he turned 95 on June 4th of 2019. He was a Tuskegee Airman, born on Independence Day, June 27, 1944. Graduated Tuskegee Army Flying School, established in Alabama shortly before America's entry into World War II. to train black men as Army combat pilots, right? And he was under the command of Benjamin O. Davis, who is a legendary figure in the military. Something he recalls stuck with him that he learned from his commander, and it was this statement: "The privileges of being an American belong to those brave enough to fight for them." I like that. And something else he said, too, I mean, Tuskegee Airmen, era of segregation, so forth. July 4th is my birthday, wrote Stewart. But I celebrate my country's birthday, too. America was not perfect in the 1940s, and it's not perfect today, yet I fought for it then and would do so again. So, remembering Harry Stewart on this Veterans Day, too. Bob in Buffalo Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and it's always great to see you at the Freedom Summit. I'd like to just recognize and honor my late father, who served in World War II and was in the South Pacific and on New Guinea with all those Biden cannibals. And
yes, Biden cannibal. Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
I got so many pictures of him with the cannibals, and I got censored by Facebook because they were in their native dress, which was nothing.
Yes,
or mostly nothing. And then one other final thing: at the end of the war, he was stationed in Japan. And I often mention to people, I'm glad we dropped the bomb, because I probably wouldn't be here, because he would have been on the first invasion force to go take over Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good day, and I'll salute to all the veterans.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Text from 219. Hi, Dan. Wishing my World War II veteran dad a happy Heavenly Veterans Day. Text from 773. Did you say Mom Donnie, or was it Mom Dummy? Right. Okay, getting back to those not serving so honorably and present. We were talking about Pagliacci Schumer really kicked the hornet's nest, and there is no more vicious and directionless hornet's nest than that on The View. Sonny Hostin is all worked up about this betrayal by Pagliacci and the 8.
Let's be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying, we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. If he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be replaced.
Busy little bees. Bzz, 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 bzz. Before I go into my Joaquin Phoenix there from Gladiator. Jerry in Milwaukee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I'd like to give a shout-out to my father, Daniel J. Slasky, who landed on Omaha Beach, went in, was wounded, and captured by the real Nazis, and then came home crippled because the real Nazis wouldn't take care of them. But
wow.
I also wanted to say about that Sunny Hostin, she has her nerve being indignant about what happened. I'm telling you, it's just beyond me.
Well, thanks for the call, Jerry. It's the yin and the yang, the honorable and the dishonorable this morning, because, we're recognizing our veterans, but then we have to talk about these people and politics and media, too. Oh, gosh. I mean, Sunny Hostin and the whole laundry list of lies that you're hearing at the rallies. I mean, but again, remember who you're talking about. Let me give you an example of what I mean. I mean, Sunny Hostin is not really dissimilar from what you see at these No Kings or End Fascism or whatever the moniker du jour is, rallies around the country, or even just a handful of honky boomers out on a sidewalk or a easeway with their signs protesting ICE or something mindless. It's not different. By the way, I got chastised. I just said honkies. I got chastised. Dave from Yorkville, I think it was Dave from Yorkville, at the Freedom Summit. He said, I don't like you using that word honky. I said, why not? Well, it's still like a racist thing. And this is a black gentleman. He didn't like me, being racist against whites. And I said, well, I get it. But, if Sherman Hemsley can use it, I can build off that and try to popularize it. Keep it in the popular lexicon. And it's, sort of, obviously, it's a little bit of a passive-aggressive slap at the identitarians so obsessed about these things. And I am not. And so, these words that are intended to be hateful in the direction of honkies, crackers, don't bother me. The whole thing is so silly, isn't it? Anyway, I digress. Back to sort of what is center cut here. Who Chuck Schumer and the rest of them have to serve fearfully. You want to talk about government being a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Oh, man. Let me show you some dangerous servants and fearful masters. What is fascism?
Why are you out here protesting?
My name's Michelle, and I'm out here protesting because I'm against fascism.
Okay. What is fascism?
Fascism is words hard. Fascism is the authoritarian, why are words so hard right now? Sorry. Fascism is an authoritarianism that is about focusing on one demographic, right? So it's I'm out of breath now. So it's taking over and excluding the people, excluding smaller demographics, and it's squashing opposition, right? So it's a regime that takes over for themselves and not for the actual people. This is supposed to be a democracy that is for the people, but this is just for them, and that's what fascism is.
I would have followed up and asked her, what's a democracy? But that may be too much punishment for one man to take. So I understand why that guy who asked her the what is fascism question didn't want to go there. That's basically what you're up against. That's the quality of the intellect. Don't believe me? How about the Refuse Fascism rally? What is fascism? No, not again. But the Refuse Fascism rally in D.C. Hey, honkies. I did it again. Sorry, Dave. Your time is over.
I don't care about your race. Your race and your empire will die. And you know what? All of this land will come right back to us. And I guarantee you, all my people...
Aren't we all people? Aren't we all human beings?
You don't treat us like human beings.
Well, you just said you don't care about us.
I don't. I really don't. We're going to continue to grow while your race dies off. And that's what it really is your white supremacy. You are so scared that...
You're going to continue to grow while we die off.
You're so scared that your women aren't having children. That's why you're trying to ban abortion. Y'all want y'all white women to have children because your race is dying off. Mine.
Are you happy about that?
I don't really care. I just care about my race, black people and brown people growing. I don't care about you. You will build a border, you will build a wall, we will dig under it. And if you close what's under it, we will dig on top. Trust me.
Are you against borders?
I am.
So no borders?
I don't think we should have a border here. I think it should be controlled, yes. I don't think anyone should come in.
How are we going to control it if there's no border?
If you build a wall, we'll dig under it, and we'll dig over it. However you do dig over a wall, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, that's what you're dealing with. I'm not dealing with it. We're not dealing with it. Most of the people listen to the show. The other side is. That's who Angus King and even Sack of Durbin and the other 8 have to watch their backs for. And Pagliacci, too. That's who has to be served. Sean, Darian.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to wish my father happy Veterans Day. He's been gone since 98. He died at 70, way too young. He was in the Korean War, wounded twice. He was a die-hard Democrat, from the 60s, a Kennedy Democrat. My mom used to say that he would vote for the devil if he was on the Democratic ticket. But trust me, he would not support or vote for these devils today. So I'd like to say.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Appreciate it. Thank you for your father's service. Craig, Mount Greenwood.
Oh, hey, good morning, Dan. Thank you much for taking my call. Yeah, on the subject of the men who served, my dad served during the Korean conflict, and my son during Desert Storm. And then I wanted to mention something about that trying to take in the Indian givers, the left, with regard to the shutdown.
Indian giver. Are we allowed to use that phrase? I'm just checking. All right, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're good. Yeah. Oh, they're so disgruntled about how much Trump got over them on the big beautiful bill. They were willing to take and do everything that they never went along with that shutdown before. But boy, for the sake of trying to be Indian givers and take back something from the big beautiful bill, all of that chaos and everything. But that's just what they are. They're liars, thieves, and Indian givers. So there you go.
Thanks for the call, Craig. Miro on the Northwest side.
Thank you. I am a honky. I use that word. Honkies use that word. Every time you use that word, I'm doing exactly what you do. I laugh. I don't want things to change. And the argument might be, well, are you going to use the N-word too? Black people use that word. I don't know about that, and I don't.
No, I'm not. I'm not using that word. No,
not you. I'm speaking in general, because someone might say that.
And I don't. Yeah, no. There are right. Distinctions to be made here, sensible distinctions. I mean, I don't want to get too into it. By the way, Dave in Yorkville, I mean, we had a very nice conversation. He was a lovely gentleman, and his family and stuff too. So it wasn't acrimonious, but it was just fun. Anyway, thanks for the call, Miro, and backing my play as a fellow honky. I appreciate it. Greg in Schaumburg.
Morning, Dan. This is to people my age, in the 70s bracket, and then their kids, and then the kids of them. And that is to talk about specifically the Vietnam War, at least in the case of my dad and myself, because that greatest generation just did not talk at all. And I was so busy with my life, I didn't really spend the time that I really regret not having done. And I just want to really put that out there for those 3 generations that exist right now, that they really do spend some time and talk about it. It's real important later when they're gone. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, Greg. That's a good. Text 24/7. People want to do something in support of veterans, should volunteer at the USO. You can go to the airport's USO centers at O'Hare and Midway and connect with veterans there and help out. Yeah, I used to be involved with the USO in Chicago. That's a good one. It's a good point. And I mean, there's so many great veterans organizations. We partner with one, veterans as well as first responders. I know that's expanding the circle, but I mean, it's a great veterans organization too, Tunnel to Towers, that we partner with for our golf outings. And there's a lot out there, obviously. So if you want to give a shout out to an organization you support that supports veterans, happy to hear those as well on this Veterans Day. George, Naperville.
Yes, Dan, thanks for using the word honky. You're taking all that power out of the word to hurt.
Yes, right, yes. Right. It is. We have suffered so long being hit with that aspersion. Yes, right. Defanging it for all the honkies out there. On a more serious note, I'll tell you, this was a particularly moving and troubling moment. And I don't think this gentleman is alone. World War II veteran, British World War II veteran, on a talk show there across the pond, lamenting the state of his England. And there's much to lament, but it's particularly moving when it comes from somebody who put his life on the line for his country.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye there was rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for.
Is it.
And we will do. We want to...
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
Yeah, well, good for him for saying that. What do you mean? What does he mean? You know exactly what he means. So get to it. In England and here in the States, too, that message could be delivered. Coming up at 6:06, we'll talk about two different realities. It's now 6 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
It's day 42 of the government shutdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I am very, very happy to be able to say that we are coming to the end.
Senate Republican leader John Thune, relieved after a final vote last night, approved government funding through January 30th, with 8 Democrats who broke ranks with their party Sunday to end a long filibuster Sunday, joining Republicans again in favor of the plan.
The House vote to align with the Senate is expected to take place around 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So final passage will probably happen tomorrow night or early Thursday morning. And House Speaker Mike Johnson sounds optimistic the bill will pass.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera.
Senate Republicans promised in a side deal a separate vote in December on a health care bill, but Johnson says he can't guarantee a vote on ACA subsidies in the House, saying he has to build consensus among members.
Well, that's why many Democrats are upset they didn't get their demands met, that any funding include an extension of the Obamacare tax credits expiring at the end of the year. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says that's unacceptable.
Tens of millions of Americans are about to experience dramatically increased health care costs.
Now, the bill does include funding for SNAP food assistance through next September as a legal battle continues during the shutdown, trying to keep the program funded. And while the shutdown continues, the flight troubles persist at airports, with another 1,100 plus cancellations and almost 600 delays this morning after over 11,000 affected flights yesterday. Amid issues with some air traffic controllers working without pay, not going to work, President Trump told Fox's Laura Ingraham,
"We should not have had people leaving their jobs." And what I basically did is say the ones that stayed, of which there were a lot of them, I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace.
It's Veterans Day, and Congressman Rich McCormick, a Republican, tells Fox,
"Thanks to all those who have served. It's about 5.5% of all of the American population has served at one time or another."
America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 28 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A man accused of opening fire on Border Patrol agents over the weekend has been arrested. Fox's Jeff Manasso has the latest.
Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino confirms to Fox News that a suspect who shot at CBP agents during immigration action Saturday is in police custody, describing the man as an armed convicted felon who's in the country illegally.
This individual should have never been walking the streets of Chicago. This is what you get with a J.B. Pritzker or a Mayor Johnson and that crazy rhetoric.
We're told more arrests are possible. The Department of Homeland Security also saying the incident is not isolated and reflects a growing and dangerous trend of violence and obstruction, that drug cartels and gang members have also put bounties on the heads of law enforcement. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A man targeted in an alleged murder-for-hire plot has passed away. According to reports, the victim, identified as 46-year-old Oscar Ochoa Tello, was shot while he was warming up his car last week. 2 men have been arrested after sheriff's deputies using surveillance cameras discovered a vehicle that was allegedly linked to that crime. And of course, today is Veterans Day. Expect closures in all federal, state, and local government offices. The post office is closed today. Most banks are closed. And of course, all Chicago public schools are closed today in honor of Veterans Day. This report is sponsored by AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Today, we say thank you to all our veterans for protecting our country. We say thank you for the sacrifice you made to keep us safe. We say thank you for serving with honor. We say thank you for being ready at a moment's notice. We say thank you for representing the best of America. And we say thank you for protecting our families from harm. To all veterans, we honor and thank you today and every day. AM 560, The Answer. Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
All right, holiday time is coming. That means it is high crime season, but not all crime should be addressed the same way. We have statistics from the FBI, and that's 2022. Firearms is only necessary less than 1% of the time. Now, the burner launcher covers 99.99% of altercations with the firepower needed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes. I carry one myself. I recommend every family concerned about safety and security have one as well. The Burner Compact Launcher is the smallest, less lethal launcher that is concealable anywhere. Now, it may be small, but it fires powerful kinetic rounds, tear gas, that can stop an attacker cold for up to 40 minutes with a range of 60 feet, and you can confidently and effectively de-escalate any situation without using lethal force. You don't need a background check. It's legal in all 50 states. It comes straight to your door. Go to byrna.com and get the launcher that is right for you and your family.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than Big Wireless, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. During cold and flu season, a nearby cough or sneeze can trigger a familiar dread, that helpless feeling of being defenseless against an invisible viral threat. But what if you could change the narrative? What if you could fortify your body's natural defenses? This is why I developed Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail designed to give your body the upper hand. Virago is more than a supplement. It's a revolutionary liquid formula packed with 23 powerful natural nutraceuticals for rapid absorption. This unique blend is scientifically crafted to help build resilience and keep you protected. Don't just hope for good health. Make it happen with Virago. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Virago. Order your bottle today online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com. Coupon code IMMUNE.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Doing pretty good this morning on the Eden, both ways from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, inbound is 17 minutes, outbound is 21. You've got 13 minutes on the inbound side of the Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office. Not too bad on the outbound side, that's 14 minutes. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 16 minutes. Same thing on the outbound side, 16 minutes. And the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange is 13 minutes, outbound is 11. Now watch out for a crash on 57 southbound at Valmer Road. It's off to the right shoulder, not causing too much of a slowdown, but it is out there. And then on the Bishop Ford outbound, the exit ramp to get off onto the westbound side of Sibley Boulevard, that is closed with a construction project. Traffic is a service of Fox Valley Coins. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will become windier and chilly with cloudy skies and a snow shower in the morning. Clouds will gradually give way to some sunshine in the afternoon with a high of 41. Tonight will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here on this Veterans Day. On the first hour, we've been juxtaposing those who served our country with honor and distinction. Those would be the veterans. And those who serve themselves at the expense of honor and distinction. And that would be most of our political representation. We were talking about the context of the shutdown. I want to expand that to include in the context of law enforcement. Politicians, not the law enforcers. But it's still taking your calls, too. I mean, the veteran stories are great. And as Greg from Schomburg said, people should hear them. But as you know, many war movies as are out there, people should hear the authentic stories of those who actually did the work, fought the battles. Don't be shy. Some veterans don't want to talk about it. I get that too. Don't want to relive what they endured, what they saw. I get that too. Respect that too. But if you do, or you want to recognize a family member, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line and text line. A text from Angus Kingland, actually. That would be Maine. Lynn, my mother, my mother, Lieutenant Veronica O'Donnell, RN, enlisted in the U.S. Army shortly after graduating from nursing school at the onset of World War II. She was shipped out to London on a retrofitted Queen Mary, where her newly acquired surgical training would be utilized. She seldom spoke of this time, and when asked, she would say, we did not want she would say we did what we needed to do. Her words echoed the selflessness of her generation. May we all live up to the example she and the other veterans provided for us today, and every day we honor your memory. Very nice, Lynn. Thank you for that. Wonderful. Your mom sounded like a great lady. Okay. But this two realities thing, because you get the sensationalized, carefully curated, that means edited to be misleading, stories about immigration law enforcement from the D.C. Press Corps and their regional outlets, including here in Chicago. And I just wanted to give a couple of examples of these confrontations that go viral. And people see a select piece of what went down without the larger context, sort of the what led up and what the actual resolution was and the backstory in terms of what information law enforcement had versus what information was relayed about what law enforcement had. This was the case in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. You may have seen this one. The clip that has been circulating is ICE stopping a vehicle. They have a woman that's on their list, and I'll explain why. She's in the car. So they stop the vehicle. There is resistance, as there almost always is when it escalates into a physical confrontation. It's not the ICE officers aren't rolling up and just grabbing somebody and throwing them out of a car. Get out of the car. I won't. You have to get out of the car. No, I won't. And it escalates from there. As we talked about so many times in the context of domestic policing, do not resist. Resistance is when things escalate. You are not going to win a confrontation with law enforcement on the streets, nor should you try. What are you doing? I don't care if you're here legally or illegally. It makes no sense. But alas, not everybody listens. So agents had to try to pull these individuals out of the car. And the man who is driving appears to have a seizure. Appears to. Emphasis. Explanation forthcoming. And now, of course, a crowd gathers around because you got trackers and whistleblowers on these ICE agents. And so now you've got these harridans screeching at law enforcement. And you've got actually the local police there providing a security perimeter, at least, so there isn't a confrontation to keep the peace. Thank you. Sensible. And there's a child in the car, too, unfortunately, that wasn't put there by ICE. So anyway, they're taken into custody, ultimately. But this is, the hysterics associated with the commentary about this. Well, and then you get the rest of the story after everybody has already depleted their outrage and is moving on to feed it somewhere else. Okay, I got all the outrage I could out of this incident, so let me go find another one. It was a targeted arrest of a violent illegal alien who in August stabbed her coworker with scissors and then threw a trash can at her. Emergency medical personnel on the scene found no legitimate medical episode. ICE called 911 in response to the apparent seizure the dude was experiencing. But then when paramedics arrived, there was no medical event, and he refused medical care. I don't know if it was an act or if it just had subsided and he didn't. Anyway, the illegal immigrant who stabbed a coworker with scissors and then threw a trash can at her. I know that's a mostly peaceful stabbing, so I know that doesn't rise to the level of violence in terms of the left's definition, but for most of us, stabbing someone with scissors is an act of violence. Is that fair? Juliana Morena Ojeda Montoya. I wonder if she's any relation to Inigo. Criminal illegal alien from Ecuador released into the country by the Biden administration in 23. In August of 2025, local police arrested her for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon after she stabbed her coworker twice with a pair of scissors and then threw a trash can at her. During ICE's targeted vehicle stop of Ojeda Montoya, her child and husband were in the car. The target threw the child into the arms of her husband while he purported to have a medical episode, though refused medical help and displayed absolutely no signs of medical concerns just moments later when paramedics arrived. Agitators attempted to impede the arrest. Fitchburg, Massachusetts police responded to the scene to help with crowd control. That's what actually happened. Not jackbooted thugs, terrorized family, endanger child, and all of the other overheated silliness that this clip is generating. Two realities. Well, not really two realities. There is reality, and then there's the unreality that is being perpetuated by people with a political motivation. Larry Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Thank you for recognizing, giving us the opportunity to recognize veterans. I'd like to give a shout-out to all my Air Force veteran compadres. I would also like to make sure our people don't forget and despise our beloved Senator Durbin. I never agreed with him politically, but I never took it personally until he attacked the U.S. Marine Corps down at Guantanamo. I will never forgive him, and I hope he burns in hell.
Thanks for the call, Larry. Yeah, that when our illustrious Senator Dick Durbin compared American soldiers to Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge, to Stalin's army. Yeah, real class act. That Dick Durbin. Chris in Lake County.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Also like to shout out, there's a guy on YouTube. He runs a channel called Voices of Honor, and he does videos long form of veterans. I just watched one the other day, about 3+ hours, but there's some as short as like 20 minutes. But he goes around and he videos or people fly to him and he'll let them tell their story, and it's just amazing what he does. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Text from 219 to Happy Veterans. Hold on. Happy Veterans Day to my father, Ron, who fought in the Army in the Vietnam War. He's the best, bravest, and most honorable man I know. Thank you for your service, Dad. Very nice. Renee Barrington.
Yes, hi, good morning. Yeah, on Veterans Day, I think about my mom and dad. Today was the anniversary of their wedding. My dad was drafted. My mom had a baby after he was drafted. And on the way down to Macon, Georgia, so he could see my brother, obviously born before me, who was 6 months old at the time, the baby died in the car. No air conditioning, became dehydrated, the baby died. So I think my dad survived World War II, but I think we have to think also about the families that suffered greatly and the sacrifices that they made.
100%. Thank you, Renee. Text from 815. Shout out to my grandfather, George Valley. Rest in peace. World War II veteran, pilot instructor, B-52s. My husband, Roger Bartell, who is a Navy veteran of the Vietnam War. My uncle, Dennis Valley, who is a Vietnam veteran, Army. And our dear friend, John Barr Sr., who is also a Vietnam veteran, Army. My thanks to all those who have served and are serving. All right. Thank you, 815. If I can just go back to this reality versus the perpetrators of unreality and take it out of the context of ICE for just a moment. There was this semi-humorous case only because of the ridiculousness of it and the behavior of a Superior Court judge. And this is all caught on body cam video. A police officer in Arizona body cam video. But I play this to illustrate how this could be done if you wanted to mislead the public in a particular political direction. So this is a Superior Court judge, Christine Schaff Olsen, hyphenated name. You know this isn't going to end well. It certainly didn't for her husband. Christina Schaff Olsen is a Superior Court judge in Arizona. She is sitting on a bench on the sidewalk near a bush, and a police officer happens upon her because she had her pants down. Gross. She was relieving herself. She was drunk. And it went a little something like this. She's interacting with the police officer, and then hubby comes to her defense, and then hubby resists, and then hubby interferes, and he refuses to obey the officer's request to stop interfering, and it escalates into him being arrested.
What are you doing? Why? What are we doing?
For an Uber.
This is disgusting.
I'm waiting for an Uber.
Okay, this is unacceptable. Where's your ID?
On this side. Was. Walk that way.
Are you her husband?
Yep.
Okay. Can you hang out over by the cab for me?
Nope. Come on.
Yeah, you can, because I'm conducting an investigation.
For what?
Because I just saw her puking and urinating, exposing herself to several people.
That wasn't her.
Okay, you can go by the cab, or you can continue to interfere with the investigation.
Come on, baby.
Okay.
No.
Last chance, go over to the cab.
No.
Okay, well, then you're detained.
Stop.
You can't do this. I'm going to throw you on the ground if you resist. I gave you several chances, and you don't want to listen.
We have a cab.
Hey, baby. 515-1 resisting.
Stop. I'm not doing anything.
So now he gets taken to the ground because he's resisting, so they can cough.
515, we're fighting.
I'm not fighting.
Grab the cuffs.
And he's taken into custody. My point of playing that, in addition to reminding you that people in public office and people who wear robes to work are not your betters. They are your temporary representatives. They are tragically flawed just like the rest of us. They only deserve so much deference. I mean, in terms of their professional responsibilities as part of the justice system in this case, yes, in that context. But it doesn't mean that they are beyond reproach the way that some people genuflect before people in positions of authority temporarily. Respect, comply, but don't take as necessarily a model or particularly enlightened. There's too many counterexamples. But the reason, in addition to that, I'm always saying, just kind of keep people in perspective here. If the media was there and they wanted to cast the police in a negative light here, what would they show you? They would show you like a disoriented woman and then her husband on the ground being cuffed by police saying, "What are you doing? You can't do this. I'm not fighting." And then it would be you could create a controversy around it. You could create this police officer handled it exactly right from beginning to end. You heard all the evidence in terms of the interference and the arrogance. Can you stand by the car or whatever? Away from me. I'm conducting an investigation. No. Oh, come on. We're going. Like you're in charge of the situation. You're not. And you know that. You just think you can come over the top because you're some sort of local potentate and this is just a lowly public servant, lowly police officer. You got the attitude. Pretty obvious. But if you wanted to mischaracterize it, if you wanted to mislead, if you wanted to take this opportunity to demonize police, you could do it. And don't think the media doesn't do it all the time with respect to their targets. You don't trust it, so don't accept what you see on these platforms without at least some investigation to confirm before people go off half-cocked the way that the left is ready to, as they're spoon-fed this agitprop from the legacy media. I mean, just like happened with Trump and the BBC, who he's now threatening to sue for $1 billion. Okay. But we talked about this yesterday, the resignations at the BBC, the J6 edit, how they edited what he said on January 6th. Now, this has serious implications, and the BBC obviously has global reach, funded by the British government, British taxpayers. And they wanted to present Trump as responsible for the riot that occurred on January 6th. So they couldn't use his actual words. They had to come up with a cut that made it look like he was inciting the crowd to violence. So here's the clip in question that was recently unearthed, that was done purposely, that the leadership of the BBC, the CEO and the Director General who resigned yesterday, they both knew about for months. Here's the clip that they used from Trump on J6.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell.
Here's what he actually said.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
A little bit of a difference, don't you think? And what did Deborah Turnus say after she resigned? And by the way, this report of an internal investigator within the BBC also called into question, the groupthink, the institutional bias. This is not the only example. The coverage of the war in Gaza, the coverage of the trans issue. What did she say?
I would like to say it has been the privilege of my career to serve as the CEO of BBC News and to work with our brilliant team of journalists. I stepped down over the weekend because the buck stops with me. But I'd like to make one thing very clear. BBC News is not institutionally biased. That's why it's the world's most trusted news provider.
Why did you fail to deal with the mistakes that were made?
And see my teams. Thank you so much.
Do you think that the journalists are corrupt, like President Trump says? Do you think the journalists are corrupt?
Of course our journalists aren't corrupt. Our journalists are hard-working people who strive for impartiality, and I will stand by their journalism.
Is there institutional bias at the BBC?
There is no institutional bias. Mistakes are made, but there's no institutional bias.
But why weren't the mistakes dealt with on Trump, on anti-Semitism, on women's rights?
I'm sure that story will emerge, but for now, I'm going to go in and see our team.
Do you think the board acted against you?
Yeah.
The board acted against you?
The buck stops with me. Mistakes were made. Mistakes made themselves. Classic. These people are caricatures of themselves. You want to believe anything coming from the BBC? You shouldn't have already. Or any other legacy media. Particularly when it's state-funded, for God's sakes. That's what I'm talking about. And so it goes, the same thing goes with the Chicago's political press corps. And shame on some of the sensible people that I know who were signatories on that letter that I read, that open letter that I read yesterday. I know a couple of people on that list fairly well. I like a couple of them. They should be ashamed of themselves for signing that letter that could have been written by Brandon Johnson. Who knows? Maybe it was. It was that excessive rhetorically and inaccurate and all based on stilted coverage like the Fitchburg, Massachusetts case, and so many others. The Columbia Daycare Center teacher case, which we'll have to pick up later. Text from 414, getting back to the Honorable, from Duncan in Milwaukee. Happy Veterans Day, soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marines, Coast Guard. Brett in McHenry, here at Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to wish a happy Veterans Day to all my brothers and sisters. I'm a veteran with the U.S. Army, and I just wanted to plug an organization that helps me out a great deal up in northern Illinois called Veterans Path to Hope. And it's an organization that helps out a lot of homeless veterans. They maintain a food pantry. They have therapeutic services. It's a really, really great organization, and honestly saved my life. So if there are any veterans out there, or if there are any people, family members of veterans that are struggling, you can reach them at veteranspathtohope.org. Again, that's veteranpathtohope.org. And if there's anyone that wants to honor our veterans today by making a donation, you can find a link there to make a donation as well.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate that, and appreciate your service as well. Thank you, sir. Coming up at 6:36, we'll turn our attention to Trump's lawfare pardons. Cornell law professor William Jacobson joins us to discuss at 6:36. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 28 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The Illinois Department of Public Health is hosting a Weather and Public Health Response Summit to examine how the effects of climate change and extreme weather events may be impacting public health. The event is scheduled to take place tomorrow and Thursday at the University of Illinois Chicago Student Center West. Several state agency directors are slated to participate in a panel discussion on Illinois' response to severe weather. And speaking of weather, between the snow and federally mandated canceled flights, travelers in Chicago are continuing to be frustrated at O'Hare and Midway airports. Hundreds of flights have been impacted between the weather and staffing issues. Airport officials reminding you to check in with your airline regarding your flight status. And today is Veterans Day. Closures include federal, state, and all local government offices. The post office is closed today. Most banks are closed, and all Chicago public schools. News is a service of farmtoveteran.com. Our veterans are our heroes. They've answered the calls to defend our freedom, putting their lives on the line. But today, thousands of these brave men and women face something no hero should ever face: food insecurity. Visit farm2veteran.com today to feed our heroes. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt reacts to election results.
Chuck Schumer thinks he won last night. He didn't. But blue states are blue states. They're going to blue state. California opened the door for every state to do what needs to be done, which is redistrict, gerrymander, follow the lead. Indiana, get on board. Florida, wherever you can, redistrict and redistrict to win, because Democrats are not responsible and they're increasingly radical.
The Hugh Hewitt Show, afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
I love giving jewelry as a gift. Roland's Jewelers is the perfect place for that magical holiday gift. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Roland's Jewelers is the absolute perfect place for the magical holiday gift for someone you love. Buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the jeweler I trust. I'm a customer, and I'm always amazed by their 5-star Google reviews, so many of them. But why not? They're the best. They're family-owned. Hey, getting engaged? Roland's has a large selection of mined and lab-grown diamonds at great prices. Choose from beautifully crafted engagement rings from designer Simon G. or Italian designer Roberto Coin, offering stunning diamond pendants and earrings. How about a Tag Heuer watch with cutting-edge technology? I love mine from Roland's. I continue to be impressed at how expertly trained their staff is. Visit Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or RolandsJewelers.com. That's Roland's, ROLLANDS, Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust, just like I do.
It's hard to find a nursing home where Christ-centered care is provided. For over 130 years, Lutheran Life has served the needs of seniors at the Lutheran Home in Arlington Heights. With chaplains on full-time duty, the Lutheran Home provides spiritual support as your loved ones confront the hard realities of aging. Our nurses will care for your bodies, and our chaplains will care for your souls. Find out how by visiting LutheranLifeCommunities.org today. That's LutheranLifeCommunities.org.
Are you tired of tech headaches slowing your business down? Unique Computing Solutions has been the go-to IT team for businesses in Illinois and Northwest Indiana for nearly 30 years. Your systems should be running smoothly, your data secured, and your communications streamlined. Visit our website today at uniquecomp.com. UniqueComputingSolutions.com. That's UniqueComputingSolutions.com. UniqueComputingSolutions.com. Your IT challenges solved.
Honey, why does it take you so long to get ready?
Because I've got one tiny sink. I'm trying to balance makeup on the back of the toilet, and the mirror's always fogged up.
Sounds like a circus act.
Exactly. And I perform every morning.
At Forever Remodeling, we create bathrooms that fit your life, not the other way around. From extra storage to spa-like showers and timeless finishes, we make your mornings easier. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com. Calculate how you could keep more of your hard-earned money and give less to Uncle Sam, especially in retirement. Get your free tax analysis today at willsave.com. And don't forget to tune in to Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman every Saturday morning at 8, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay. And it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Doing pretty good in both directions on the Eden. It's 15 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, not too bad. 18 minutes inbound. Outbound is 23. A little bit slow on the northbound side of the Tri-State as you exit for the outbound Eisenhower. And on the Eisenhower, it's 14 minutes in both directions from Wolf to the old post office. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 18 minutes. Outbound is 15. And you're in good shape both ways on the Dan Ryan. Inbound from 95th to the Burn Interchange is 14 minutes. Outbound is 11. The outbound Bishop Ford has the exit ramp to get off onto the westbound side of Sibley Boulevard shut down with a construction project. This report is sponsored by Aleve. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will become windier and chilly with a mix of clouds and sun. A snow shower is expected this morning, followed by clearing skies in the afternoon. The high will reach 41. Tonight will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Sort of saw this coming from our conversation with election attorney Cleta Mitchell last week. President Trump pardoned 77 American citizens targeted by Dem Socialist attorneys general for their participation in alternative elector efforts and challenges to the 2020 presidential election results and the vulnerabilities alleged. On Friday, the Trump administration began contacting scores of Republicans still facing criminal charges in a handful of blue states for their service as alternative electors or connection to the alternative electors that conveyed the president's decision to pardon them. The official pardon provides that, quote, the president grants a full, complete, and unconditional pardon for all conduct relating to the advice, creation, organization, execution, submission, support, voting, activities, participation in, or advocacy for of any slate or proposed slate of presidential electors, whether or not recognized by any state or state official in connection with the 2020 election. And the Office of U.S. Pardon Attorney Ed Martin provided a 15-page memorandum that was obtained by the Federalist that essentially goes through the case for issuing these pardons. Really important because you still have people that were otherwise facing criminal prosecution or jail time. The action taken by the president obviously heads that off at the pass. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined again for some legal insights by Professor William Jacobson. Professor Jacobson is the clinical professor of law and director of the Securities Law Clinic at Cornell. He's the founder of LegalInsurrection.com and president of the Legal Insurrection Foundation, as well as the Equal Protection Project. Professor Jacobson, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me back.
In your view, is this a judicious use of the president's pardon power?
Yeah, I'm not sure there is such a thing as judicious use of
okay.
power. It's unlimited and unfettered, pretty much. And I think this is probably, Trump doesn't want his people hanging out there once he leaves office. And so I think, as of now, some have been prosecuted under state law. Trump can't pardon that. But there haven't been, to my knowledge, federal prosecutions of any of these people. And I think he doesn't want that to happen if there is a Democrat in the next administration. So I think this is him just putting his affairs in order, so to speak. There are no current prosecutions. There's not going to be any while he's in office. But the statute of limitations on these alleged crimes, I think, carries over a year or so into a new administration. So I think this is just him trying to put this behind him.
Well, I mean, okay, that makes sense to me. But then talk about the alternative electors deal in the first place. I mean, the prosecutions, even the state level prosecutions that are ongoing. I mean, do you find those meritorious, or is this another example of lawfare?
I think it's mostly lawfare. There's been this myth created. You hear all the time in the media, so-and-so tried to overturn an election. Well, there's nothing in and of itself illegal about trying to overturn an election. People do it all the time.
Right.
Court challenges, they do it through votes in Congress. There's nothing illegal about that. Now, you can do it in an illegal way, and the only prosecutions that I think have any, straight-faced validity is if somebody forged a document, okay? And I think there might be a couple of ones where a document was presented purporting to be something it wasn't. That might be a crime. But the mere fact that you come up with a slate of proposed alternative electors is not illegal. And because you can present that to Congress, and Congress has the right to accept the electors it accepts. So this whole thing about overturning an election, which was the basis for for the prosecution of Trump when he was prosecuted in D.C. in federal court by Jack Smith, all you heard in the media is Trump's, tried to overturn an election. Well, so what? That's not illegal. And so that's been my view all along. It's my view of these alternative elector cases. Unless somebody forged a signature or somebody committed fraud by presenting a certificate as something it's not, I don't think any of that was criminal.
No, right. I mean, yeah, right. Of course, it's presented that way, as you well know, but just to be explicit about it, he tried to overturn an election. The connotation is some sort of coup d'etat. The connotation is illicitly. And of course, this is why we have courts of law. And this is why we have a free society where you're allowed to make arguments, even if they're arguments that a judge or people don't find persuasive. You're still allowed to make them. So you're allowed to come up with novel legal theories about, about why this was or was not proper in terms of the administration of a particular election in a particular jurisdiction. I mean, I feel silly saying something so obvious, but it seems to evade the comprehension of, half the country.
Yeah, I mean, think of all the Democrat challenges to elections that they lost, okay? And so that's the whole thing, and I think Trump is right to be concerned that a new administration will be vindictive, even more vindictive towards Republicans than the prior administration. And I think that's an issue he's concerned about.
The BBC, I was just commenting on it before you joined us. So obviously over the weekend you saw the top executives at BBC resign in shame. I don't know if they're ashamed. They should be ashamed. But certainly they were caught by an internal investigation doctoring Trump's J6 video, and there's other allegations of institutional bias in their coverage of other topics like the war in Gaza and trans issues and so forth. No surprises there. But Trump has suggested that he may be interested in filing, $1 billion lawsuit against the BBC for defamation. I mean, it seemed to work against CBS and ABC, so I guess why not get some of that British taxpayer money to line his pockets too and punish the BBC some more? What do you make of a possible defamation case in this instance?
Well, what they did, and listeners may have heard it already, but they basically sliced and diced an interview to make it seem like he was encouraging violence on J6, and left out all the parts where he wasn't. Okay, and so it was bad, and I think that he probably has a legitimate claim. Interesting jurisdictionally to me, I think he's threatening to sue in Florida. BBC's based in Britain, so I don't know those sort of things, but. Yeah, I think the BBC messed up here. They deliberately tried to present him in a false light, which is a slightly different claim than defamation. And I think that the BBC is so corrupt, it's kind of the epitome of corruption in mainstream media, whether it's Gaza. They have some big scandal going there now where there was a reported mass grave that they knew the claims were false, and they reported them anyway. So it's just totally corrupt. But that's what happens when you get government-run media, and it's unfortunate because, the internet is, awash in fabrications, awash in propaganda, and who do you rely on? And when you get a group, an entity like the BBC, flat out manipulating a video where there is actual proof of what was on the original video, where you get that, people lose faith in any sort of media, legitimacy.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've delegitimized themselves, and so you shouldn't trust the BBC, and you should trust people that are pointing it out. I mean, that's sort of you basically make decisions based on work product. That's how it should work. Yeah. I want to get your view on something else too, because this is all of a sudden the talk of leftist circles. Eric Holder talked about it over the weekend on a leftist podcast, and Serpent Head, James Carville, talking about it with his old buddy Al Hunt, and I do mean old. Same thing. Take a listen to James Carville telling us what's going to happen when Dem socialists regain regain the two branches of government in 2028 so that they can regain control of the third branch.
I want to talk to Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Alito, Justice Barrett, Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Gorsuch. I might be forgetting one. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. A Democrat is going to be elected in 2028. You know that. I know that. There's going to be a Democratic House. There's going to be a Democratic Senate. The Democratic president is going to announce a special transition advisory committee on the reform of the Supreme Court, that we could have our third branch of government has lost the faith and trust of the American people, and his president would are going to do everything alone. He's going to appoint a blue ribbon, maybe Judge Ludick and the dean of the, just the usual suspects, all right? And they're going to recommend that the number of Supreme Court justices go from 9 to 13. That's going to happen, people. That's going to happen to you. They're going to win. They're going to do some blue ribbon panel of distinguished jurists, and they are going to recommend 13, and a Democratic Senate and House are going to pass it, and the Democratic president is going to sign it, because they have to do an intervention so we can have a Supreme Court that the American people trust again.
Professor Jacobson, you want me to put in a word for you on the blue ribbon panel that Jim Carville's going to be in charge of assembling?
Yeah, I'd love to be on that panel.
So the Supreme Court expansion, that's seems to be top of mind for Dems right now. I mean, I know it pops up and then it recedes and it pops up again, but it's popped up.
Yeah, I think it's very high on their list. I mean, what is holding them back from absolute power in the country? Obviously not controlling the presidency, but that can change. And I agree with him. If I looked at the landscape right now, I think it's a toss of the coin as to what party the next president's going to be from. At best, a toss of the coin. But what's been holding them back is the Supreme Court. They are absolutely furious that the Supreme Court has essentially restrained their desire for absolute power. And they want that impediment removed. And really the only way they can do it is through expanding the court. It's been on their agenda for multiple election cycles. They brag about it. It motivates their base. And it's not going to be as easy as it seems. You know, I'm not sure they will get enough Democrats to go along with it. Certainly not. They're going to have to nuke the filibuster if that's what they're going to do, because you're never going to get enough senators. They're never going to get 60 senators. Okay, there's just no way that's going to happen. And it's not as clear. It's much less likely that they will regain control of the Senate. I'm not saying it's impossible, but looking at the numbers, they're probably going to regain control of the House. The Senate, Republicans still have a multiple seat lead and might pick up one or two this year. So I think the chance of them getting 60 senators or even 51 might be not as hopeful as Carville is saying. And they'll need to pass a bill through both houses.
You're right, and for those, including President Trump recently, who suggest preemptive action on nuking the filibuster because you know what the left is going to do if they get the numbers. Even nuking the filibuster now, even if you did it, you can't preempt what they would do. In other words, there's no way to ostensibly there would be no way to sort of memorialize it shall be 9 Supreme Court justices to prevent a Congress that is controlled by Democrats from unwinding it. So, I mean, the point of that filibuster standard and trying to hew to it is to make sure you're not just swinging from 13 to 9 to 13 to 9, depending on who's in power, just using this issue as the example.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, this might be a mistake, though, politically for Democrats, because while it will motivate some of their voters, it motivates conservatives and Republicans also. I think if there is a legitimate threat, I mean, Supreme Court nominations and supreme control of the Supreme Court is extremely important to Republican voters. So they may end up increasing Republican turnout if they try to push that through. So I'm not so sure that it's, as an electoral matter, going to help them as much as they think, even though it will motivate their base.
Professor William Jacobson, a clinical professor of law and director of the Securities Law Clinic at Cornell, founder of LegalInsurrection.com, and president of the Legal Insurrection Foundation, as well as the Equal Protection Project. Professor Jacobson, thank you as always.
Great, thank you.
And Professor Jacobson joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your local State Farm agent, Anthony DeGrotto, combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. You can combine your home, auto, and life insurance to not only save you money, but give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. Anthony DeGrotto is your go-to agent in Chicagoland. He and his team will work for you to provide the best service you expect at the price you want. Combine your home, auto, and life insurance today. Anthony DeGrotto will help you mix and match things perfectly. His State Farm office is a top pick 2024 Daily Herald Reader's Choice Award winner. He's a proud supporter of Tunnel to Towers and like-minded as you. His State Farm agency is currently looking to add members at their Roselle office. Call Anthony at 847-895-1500 today or visit DeGrottoSF.com. That's DeGrottoSF.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
AM 560, The Answer.
That sound means it's time for In-Depth History with Frank, the history teacher from Arlington Heights, because there's nothing new in this world, just the history you don't know and Frank does. Frank, take it away.
Good morning. Queen Victoria died in 1901, her reign lasting nearly 64 years, outlasting George III, who ruled from 1760 through 1820. But the end of the Victorian era of generally conservative governance dominated by Lords Disraeli and Salisbury, interrupted by bouts of William Gladstone, wouldn't really end until 1911, when a major parliamentary reform that stripped the House of Lords of its ability to veto legislation was enacted. In 1909, the second of three consecutive Liberal prime ministers, Herbert Asquith, sought to pass what was known as the People's Budget, which included heavier taxes on the huge landed estates of Britain in order to finance social welfare programs. The House of Lords, of course, wouldn't move, so Asquith had to call two general elections. By December 1910, a Liberal coalition government with the Irish Nationalists was formed. The Emerald Isle eventually got home rule as a result, and Asquith threatened to create new peers to pack the House of Lords with more Liberal lords. To avoid this indignity, they reluctantly agreed to the reforms which ended their power to veto money bills and instead allowed only a 2-year delay of them. People's Budget eventually passed, and the old Victorian era was ended. President Trump has the power to call either House of Congress into session under Article 2, Section 3 for an extraordinary occasion. He can set the adjournment time, too. President Truman did this on Turnip Day in 1948, and this Congress didn't make the reforms he desired, so it was saddled with the do-nothing label. Perhaps, rather than demand an end to the filibuster now, President Trump should call only the Senate into session and make the central issue of the midterms the end of the filibuster, and then let the people decide on this and the other actions that ending cloture votes could achieve. This type of tactic sure worked for Truman in 1948, didn't it?
Interesting. But I mean, in the Turnip Day, because it was in July when it's Turnip Day in Missouri, right? Something like that. Am I remembering that correctly?
It was a short session, and I don't know exactly if this type of thing would work, but I'm not a big fan of ending the filibuster because of the protections of it. But
right.
The Democrats probably will do it at some point if they get a trifecta again, and they'll just ram through what they want. So maybe we have to understand Trump's logic. We have to get through some of that stuff before they do that.
Yeah, the only problem though is saying, well, we'll make ending the filibuster the referendum question of a midterm election. But I mean, that's never a single referendum question, right? I mean, so depending on how it goes, it doesn't necessarily tell you that the filibuster issue was determinative one way or the other.
Yeah, but if he calls the Senate into session and makes it a big deal in campaigns like he usually has, maybe it will be.
Yeah, fair point.
Truman made the do-nothing Congress the issue of 1948.
All right. Very good, Frank. Always interesting insights and angles.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coming up at 7:07, it is Veterans Day. We'll talk to Representative Farm to Veterans, 7:07.
It took 41 days for this to happen. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
On this vote, the ayes are 60. The nays are 40.
The Senate finally approving the funding that would reopen the government. And Republican Senator Lindsey Graham praised on Fox the Democrats who broke a filibuster Sunday and voted with him again.
You had 8 senators like Senator Fetterman who put the country ahead of party, and I cannot thank him and the other 7 enough. They did the country a great service.
By doing that, Democrats did not get what they demanded in the bill, extending Obamacare subsidies that expire at the end of the year, making coverage more expensive for millions of Americans.
The left is fuming at Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, even though he did not cave and vote yes. Democrats say they will stick to their demand for credits to offset the cost of health care. Senate Majority Leader John Thune promises a health care vote in December, but there is no guarantee from House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Now, President Trump tells Fox's Laura Ingraham Republicans are working on this plan.
Where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy.
Tomorrow, the House is expected to pass the bill to fund the government through January. It would also fund the military and SNAP food assistance through next September. But until that's approved and signed into law, air travel remains difficult, with nearly 1,200 flights canceled today, 600 plus delayed. Air traffic controllers, some still calling out sick.
We're learning that 5.2 million passengers have been affected by these disruptions of the government shutdown since October 1st.
And Fox Business Network's Kelly Saberi also reports from Chicago's O'Hare Airport that shutdown's affecting future flights, too.
The sale of Thanksgiving week flights has also slowed. In the first week of November, Cirium says that number of people shopping for their Thanksgiving tickets has significantly dropped.
It's a chilly Veterans Day for a lot of Americans. Freeze warnings across the South, Texas to Florida to the Carolinas. America's listening to Fox News.
WIND, Chicago.
Good morning. It is 28 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A semi-truck driver is recovering from non-life-threatening injuries after his truck was hit by a train yesterday. According to reports, that semi became stuck on the tracks due to heavy snow in the area. The driver managed to escape just before a Norfolk and Southern freight train hit the semi. That accident was just one of several that occurred yesterday morning caused by the snowy conditions. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin was one of a handful of Democratic senators to vote to reopen the government. In a statement on his website, Durbin acknowledged that the short-term solution wasn't perfect, but stated that it took important steps to reduce the shutdown's hurt. Meanwhile, the Senate voted 60-40 last night on a spending bill which would reopen the government. President Trump has already shared support for the deal, and Speaker Mike Johnson has urged House lawmakers who have been on a recess since the shutdown began to return for a vote, which will most likely take place tomorrow. With Chicago's downtown office vacancy rate now at a record high of 28%, Illinois Policy Institute researcher Lilina Estevin says city policymakers have become their own worst enemy when it comes to addressing the area's changing demographics. New data shows the Loop's vacancies ballooned over the recent third quarter as post-pandemic work trends continued to impact and impede demand. All told, companies reducing their footprint in the area over just the last 2 years have cost the business district 2.3 million square feet, or nearly twice the amount of space that was vacated during the Great Recession of 2009-2010. This report is sponsored by AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, we say thank you to all our veterans for protecting our country. We say thank you for the sacrifice you made to keep us safe. We say thank you for serving with honor. We say thank you for being ready at a moment's notice. We say thank you for representing the best of America. And we say thank you for protecting our families from harm. To all veterans, we honor and thank you today and every day. AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the costs of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Priority tax relief. Attention taxpayers, if you owe $5,000 or more, have fallen behind on filings, or missed an IRS deadline, you're already on the IRS's radar. The IRS has resumed aggressive collections. That means wage garnishments, bank levies, even seizures of your home, car, or retirement accounts. If you owe $5,000 or more and missed the deadline, you're stacking new debt on top of what you already owe. Call Priority Tax Relief now. Their experts fight back fast and save their clients millions in tax debt every month.
I owed over $50,000, and they settled it for pennies on the dollar. These guys are legit.
After speaking on my behalf with the IRS, my entire debt of $25,000 will be eliminated.
Call for your free consultation. 800-697-3208. 800-697-3208.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Priority Tax Relief.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. You're still doing really well on the Eden both ways from Lake Cook to Montrose. It's 15 minutes. Starting to get a little bit busy on the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange. Inbound is 24 minutes. Outbound is 29. The Tri-State northbound slows down as you exit for the outbound Eisenhower. And on the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the old post office, hitting those brakes, it's 30 minutes. Outbound is 20. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 25 minutes. Outbound is 18. The Dan Ryan still in good shape from 95th to the Burn Interchange. Inbound is 16, outbound is 11. And the exit ramp on the Bishop Ford outbound is closed to get off onto the westbound side of Sibley Boulevard with a construction project. Traffic is a service of Farm to Veteran. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will become windier and chilly with a mix of clouds and sun. A snow shower is expected this morning, followed by clearing skies in the afternoon. The high will reach 41. Tonight will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. A couple of more texts on this Veterans Day. We got a call earlier about a YouTube channel that's very popular that has cool stories about veterans during different periods in American history. He just texted in to correct the title of this series on YouTube. It's called Voices of History. Voices of History, if people are interested. Let's see, a couple more I wanted to get to here. My friend Matt Hickey. Shout out to my dad, who served in Alaska during the Korean conflict. To his credit, not one North Korean set foot in Alaska. Good job, Dad. Yeah, that's like my grandpa on my mom's side, who served in the Navy during World War II in Oklahoma, and he protected Oklahoma from the Nazis. So, yes, shout out to my dearly departed grandfather there. Not all veteran stories are the same, but we appreciate everybody who serves honorably. There was we had a couple good calls on organizations that deserve a hat tip and some recognition. A text from 847. Shout out to the Lake County Honor Flight organization that has flown more than 600 veterans to their memorials in D.C. Yep, Honor Flight's great. Anybody else we can get to? All right. We'll pick it up as we go along the rest of the show, so feel free to continue calling in and texting in 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. But now it's time to talk about another veterans organization that you should know more about. We've been talking about them a bit. You've heard their spots on this program and our airwaves here at AM 560. It's Farm to Veteran, farm2veteran.com. Michelle Keller is the senior director at Farm to Veteran, farm2veteran.com. She joins us now. Michelle, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Pleasure to be here.
This started, as I read on the website, this started a single-family farm in Manhattan, Illinois, and now it's quite the operation. Give us the origin story and the general expanse of what you guys do.
Yeah, so we started as a nonprofit in 2020. Before that, we have a 60-acre farm in Manhattan, Illinois, that we were selling to the public. And we decided we were going to do something great for our veterans. And everything that we produce on the farm gets donated to Veterans in Need. So our eggs, our beef, pork, all gets donated. None of it gets sold to the general public. From expansion, with working with some of our veteran organizations, we were able to work with partner farmers to produce what we can, such as produce, fruits and vegetables, anything perishable that they would need to be nutritious meals. And in those 5 short years, we have now donated over 500,000 meals to veterans in our local community and beyond.
Wow. Well, just on so you went from a working farm, and this was, I guess, a source of the family income, to not running a for-profit operation. I mean, how did you manage that transition?
Well, our founder is actually a serial entrepreneur, has many businesses, and this is kind of a hobby farm for him. And he took those and was able to fund this farm from his other business entities, and from there it kind of grew. And then with, a few grants here and there, donations from the public, people really getting behind our mission, we're being able to flourish.
And so, I mean, you said 500,000 meals
in 5 years.
500,000 meals in 5 years, and so, like, what is what is your footprint? I mean, I know it's a relatively new operation, so that's pretty dramatic growth. That's great as a service as a service organization. But what's your footprint? How far and wide do you serve veterans?
We are actually in 9 different states. We started out in the south suburbs of Chicago and kind of been creeping up. We're getting farther and farther north as we go. Every year, adding more and more organizations that we work with. But then we have farmers who have reached out to us and says, hey, I want to help. And maybe the farmer's not here or the rancher's not here. So we have operations in Florida, Texas, Colorado, Washington State, South Dakota, and it's all based on where the farmers want to be able to donate their product. And if they don't donate their product, we also then pay fair market value if they want to help us out.
So some want to just, make donations to the overall cause, and some I want to serve families where I'm at. And so then you work out those details. This is a big logistical operation. You've got to set up pretty intricate supply chains, I guess, these days.
Yes, we do.
And you talk about the organizations that you work with. So how do you make determinations? I mean, there's so many veterans organizations, and VA hospitals and so on and so forth. How do you make assessments of who you're going to partner with in terms of providing these resources, the food?
Yeah. So a major factor in what we partner with is that an organization that's providing additional services other than just, say, like a food pantry. So we work with organizations like Veterans Assistance Commissions, VA hospitals. We're at Hines VA. We're at the Will County Veterans Assistance Commission, Kankakee County Veterans Assistance Commission, and then other organizations that maybe house veterans. So we work very closely with Volunteers of America, who has local housed veteran buildings in Joliet and in the south side of Inglewood, as well as like Catholic Charities, who has St. Leo's, Veterans New Beginnings, and beyond. So we work very well with organizations that are also providing additional services so that it's kind of a one-stop shop. If you go and you need some assistance filling out paperwork, but you also need a fresh meal, they have it there.
And so, I mean, and obviously some of these organizations were providing food or had a different partnership if they needed an outside vendor to provide the food. But I assume sort of the value add here is this is like, farm to table, fresh meats and produce and high quality meals.
Absolutely. A lot of the folks have the shelf stable food, and we're able to have fresh meat, fresh eggs, fresh produce. So we provide a refrigerator or freezer for any organization that needs it. and then we fill that refrigerator and freezer up on a regular basis. We've heard success stories of veterans who have told me that they've been proud of the program and either learned how to cook because they never knew how to cook with fresh ingredients. It was always freezer meals or boxed macaroni and cheese or something like that. And I've also had veterans tell me that their health has greatly increased because their A1Cs are down because they're having healthy food.
Interesting. And the organizations that you work with are regional and national in scope. I mean, does that matter at all? Do you try to stay hyper local, or is it sort of the general universe of organizations that provide other services and need this food support?
We work with local organizations as well as national organizations. It's all just a matter of getting to the right person and getting people to know who we are. We're very new, so most people have never heard of us. And this is the first year that we've actually done any type of outreach to the public to get to know who we are.
And you know, like we've heard some quantification of, for example, the homeless problem among veterans, or the issue of suicidal ideation, PTSD related problems. But this sort of food insecurity / sort of quality of food that may have something to do with sort of economic independence too. I haven't really heard a quantification or some understanding of the scope of the problem. Do you have that handle from what you've learned doing this and building this organization?
From a lot of the research that we've found, and there's studies out there and everything, but it's come to the conclusion that 1 in 5 veterans will be food insecure at some point during their lives.
Really?
And that is a statistic that is, greater than any other population. And that really hits home with us, and that's why we want to get food into as many veterans' hands as possible.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge number.
Yeah,
I mean it's somewhat surprising, but I mean I guess part of it is these other post-service issues that creep in that people are more familiar with. I mean it all, sort of compounds on itself, and this is one area that it manifests itself as well that perhaps people hadn't considered.
Absolutely.
And so, what's the blue sky vision for Farm to Veteran? I mean, do you want to be in all 50 states, and are you looking for partnerships with more farms as obviously financial support for what you're doing as a nonprofit? I understand that, but what's the big vision?
The big vision currently is we want to get as many people in Illinois as possible on our program, to be able to get it as local and into our communities, make sure that we're getting that footprint right first. Obviously, expansion to all 50 states eventually would be great, but the greatest vision would be for us to actually not exist and to be able to fight this food insecurity and have all veterans have a meal on their table and never have to worry about where the next one is.
I mean, that makes sense too, is you want to sort of perfect the model and then you can replicate and scale, right? I mean, that's the idea.
Yep. Yeah.
And just in terms of, all of these organizations and in addition to the VA, I mean, do you have any perspective of talking to like staff at VAs and other big organizations of, why this problem is so pronounced? 1 in 5 is, of veteran, that's a big number.
I mean, I've talked to many people, and you get different stories from different people. A lot of folks do come out of the military and have either PTSD, addiction issues, alcoholism. Some folks even, if you talk to some of our older veterans, they went directly from their family home to the military, and now, then they maybe got married, had kids, maybe they didn't have kids, and now they're older and alone. and they are kind of lost and don't really know what to do, and they won't ask for help. Veterans are a very proud people, and they won't ask for help until it's like almost in their face. And we've heard stories of, unfortunately, healthier food is a little bit more expensive. So they're not making the choices at the grocery store to get fresh fruits and vegetables and meat and eggs. Instead, 2 boxes of, a sugary cereal is going to last them a lot longer. So we're trying to help them make healthier choices. We're trying to get them back on their feet. We're trying to get them to eat healthier and, hopefully eradicate this food insecurity.
The other thing that from the spots that we've been running too, you make mention of is community events that Farm to Veteran does, farmtoveteran.com does. Come out and look on the calendar for an event near you and come out to our community events. What are those like?
So yeah, we do a lot of community events partnered with additional organizations. So actually today I'm going over to one of the American Legions, and we're doing a luncheon for our veterans, about 250 of them. So we're doing those kind of things. We work with some of the local homes to do like holiday events or just to get out there into the community, and not necessarily to promote Farm to Veteran, but just to sit with our veterans and be able to talk with them and hear what they have to say. We do like things like chili cook-offs and 5Ks and, all those kind of things, partnering with other organizations. We did a Warriors Walk, suicide prevention, and we were able to help out there. Or the Veterans Garage that has military vehicles and parades, and we'll, jump in a parade with them. So we're very collaborative. We like to work with a lot of veteran organizations to just, get the awareness, because we all have one mission, is to help the veterans.
It's very cool. It's really, really interesting, and it's great that you've been able to build this so quickly. It's good news for veterans. Michelle Keller is Senior Director at Farm to Veteran. Again, that's farm, the number 2, farmtoveteran.com to support Farm to Veteran, to get out to one of their community events. Farmtoveteran.com is the organization and the website. Michelle Keller, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And Michelle joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. What did Senate Democrats get out of the 40-day Schumer shutdown? Nothing more than what they would have gotten with a clean continuing resolution. Democrats didn't get anything they wanted. They didn't even get a pass on the filibuster for the debate on ACA subsidies, let alone a commitment for an extension. Schumer's demand for a reversal of Medicaid changes in the reconciliation bill got completely rejected. The only real concession in this deal from the GOP is a pledge to rescind OMD Director Russ Vought's layoffs. But those only took place because Schumer shut the government down first. How bad was this collapse? Not one Democrat can explain what this shutdown accomplished, other than derailing air travel, federal paychecks, and aid to poor families. The Schumer shutdown has been an utter clown show. The progressive left that demanded a fight against Donald Trump over nothing at all will figure it out sooner or later. Bet on sooner. I'm Ed Morrissey.
Text from 312. Shout out to the Chicago District Golf Foundation for partnering with Heinz VA to coordinate blind vet golf outings. Okay, that's cool. All right, good. CDGA gets a shout out. Keep sending in the text 312-642-5600, Turnkey.Pro answer line, and find spots for a few more calls too if you want to call in and recognize a vet or vet organization. Imagine spending your holiday season with family, not IT headaches from work. With Managed IT Help Desk services from Access One, you get 24/7 expert support, an IT team that never takes time off for roughly the same cost or less than one IT person. Access One's IT Help Desk is a local center here in Chicago, ready to help 365 days a year, so you have less IT downtime and no IT staffing issues. You deserve to enjoy your holiday with family, eating home-cooked meals and not getting interrupted with IT issues. Access One can give you peace of mind during the holidays and beyond. It's a gift to yourself and your company. To speak with an Access One agent, call 800-654-1555 and tell them AM 560 sent you. Access One is now offering a 90-day risk-free trial so you can discover how they fix IT for good. Learn more at access1inc.com/guarantee. That's access1, the number spelled out ONE, access1inc.com/guarantee, or call 800-654-1555. IT support tickets piling up? Not anymore. Hand off your help desk to Access One by visiting access1inc.com/guarantee.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
You know, nothing beats the comfort of a perfectly heated home.
And when it comes to heating your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is fast. When your furnace breaks down, they'll fix it right away.
Just like that. Big time results. No waiting around. You get the job done right. And let's face it, who doesn't love being warm, right? It's beautiful. When it's freezing, I crank up that amazing furnace. Burn, baby, burn. Trust me, you'll say, wow, I've never felt this warm in my life.
If you like keeping your hard-earned money, then contact Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you, and right now you'll receive $56 off any service.
Unbelievable.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim, where we talk all things retirement. I'm here with my friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, what are the biggest expenses listeners will face in retirement? And please explain the process you take to address these expenses.
Well, Dan, most people think it's healthcare, and that is one of them. But the number one expense in retirement is actually taxes, and that needs to be addressed. Most people have put their money year after year in their tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and IRAs, and they have basically deferred their taxes for a long time. But they've created a tax time bomb, and they don't know it. And that's why we offer the Tax Impact Report.
Tim, so many of us lack a retirement tax plan. For your clients and customers, how do you help map out a tax plan in retirement?
Well, we start with a Tax Impact Report. Most people know how much money they saved for retirement, but they have no idea how much they'll be paying in taxes throughout their retirement. We will run them a report that shows if they default to the IRS's plan, what they will pay in taxes, or they can get ahead of it and mitigate those taxes by being proactive in their tax planning rather than reactive.
Tim, you advertise a complimentary risk assessment report of our listeners' portfolio. Explain what that is, what it reveals, and how AM 560 listeners can sign up for this report.
Dan, we found that many of our listeners do not understand how much risk they have in their underlying portfolio. The strong stock market has made investors lackadaisical in their approach to risk in their hard-earned portfolios. We can ascertain how much risk is actually in their portfolio, and most importantly, show them tools that can help mitigate that risk.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free risk report. That's 1-800-640-2256. Again, that's 800-640-2256. Tell them I sent you when you call 800-640-2256.
Hi, this is Sean Morrison, owner of Morrison Security Corporation. Here in Chicagoland, we see it all. Rising crime, civil unrest, and growing concerns for the safety of our families, our schools, our places of worship, and our businesses. Every American has a right, the Second Amendment right, to protect what matters most. At Morrison Security, we take that responsibility seriously. For over 25 years, we've been on the front lines, providing licensed, highly trained security officers, men and women committed to professionalism, reliability, and results. We stand for truth, honesty, and integrity, and we bring those values to every client we protect. Whether you need coverage for a school, a church, a retail location, construction site, or corporate facility, our mission is simple: protect people and property with excellence and accountability. Morrison Security Corporation. Protection you can trust, integrity you can count on. I am Sean Morrison, and you have my word, honesty and integrity always. Visit MorrisonSecurity.com. That's MorrisonSecurity.com.
You know that display in the bookstore of employees' top picks?
With the little cards and handwritten reviews. Well, if Penny Mustard had a top pick section, it would feature the Dane bedroom.
My card would say, smoking hot. You'll feel more sophisticated with the Dane bedroom in your home.
My review would read, the perfect balance of iron and wood makes the Dane bedroom stand out from the rest. And mine would say, I find this compelling, beautifully written tale to be both haunting and rollicking. Gritty, yet sensitive, crackling with pitch-perfect phrasing. A triumph. I only wish it had more pictures.
Anyway, the Dane bedroom's clean, crisp lines match any decor.
With forever tight bed brackets and drawer bottoms strong enough to stand on. Wow, I can't wait to see the film adaptation. The Dane bedroom with king floating panel bed, 8-drawer dresser, mirror, and 3-drawer nightstand, starting at $82.48 at Penny Mustard.
7 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com. Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishings.
AM 560, The Answer.
A couple more shout-outs. 847, World War II Army veteran Jerry Nedolicki turned 101 September 26th. Wow. Amazing man and father-in-law. Happy Veterans Day, indeed. World War II veteran. Awesome. Couple texts from friends, too. Even though he's my dentist, he's also my friend. Never fun, but... Phil the dentist. He texted me, the American Dental Association, in partnership with a national organization called Dental Lifeline Network, donated dental services, has a program called Will You Treat One Veteran? Dentists volunteer to treat veterans from start to finish at no charge to the veterans. I've had the honor of treating 6 or 7 veterans, a pleasure to do so. That's awesome. That's great, donating your services like that. Phil's a good guy. Great American. Also this, too. This is interesting from my friend Andy Bizub. Shout out to my dad, Rudy Bizub, who served in the Navy during World War II on Guadalcanal, and my son, Jack, who served in peacetime at Fort Wainwright in Alaska. But also, to what we were talking about with Farm to Veteran. Andy writes, I can tell you it's atrocious what support there is for vets when they get out. It takes forever to get anything out of the VA, huge bureaucracy. Our son has done well because he has family, but he has Army buddies who don't have that support network. One of them just stayed with us for a week. It's really interesting. I guess if you really process it, it's not surprising, even though it's obviously disturbing. But I'm floored that 1 in 5 veterans will have a bout with not having food or even quality food. It's not just food, but quality food, as we heard from Farm to Veteran. All right. Coming up at 7:37, we'll talk all things Illinois policy and probably a little politics. Mark Glennon, wirepoints.org, 7:37. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 29 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A man who was targeted in an alleged murder for hire plot has passed away. 2 men have been arrested after sheriff's deputies using surveillance cameras discovered a vehicle that was allegedly linked to that crime. A semi-truck driver is recovering from non-life-threatening injuries after his truck was hit by a train yesterday. According to reports, that semi became stuck on the tracks due to heavy snow in the area. The driver managed to escape just before a Norfolk and Southern freight train hit the semi. That accident was one of several that occurred yesterday morning, all caused by those snowy conditions. And the Illinois Department of Public Health is hosting a Weather and Public Health Response Summit to examine how the effects of climate change and extreme weather events may be impacting public health. Several state agency directors are slated to participate in a panel discussion on Illinois' response to severe weather. News is a service of Air Right Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited-time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at air-rite.com. Again, that's air-rite.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Larry Elder explains the real Obamacare.
Yeah, we were told over and over and over again that Obamacare was going to bend the cost curve down. And people are paying more for their premiums. Co-pays are higher. Deductibles are higher. Cost is higher. For people that get coverage through their employer, it's higher. Individual, it's higher. It's made things worse.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Reveille. As November rolls into December and people start looking forward to the holidays, and while taxpayers are distracted, local governments in Illinois are deciding how much to raise your property taxes. Illinois has the most units of government of any state, and that adds up to Illinois having the highest property taxes in the nation. From small townships to big counties, government staff and elected officials are looking at the numbers and trying to figure out how much more of your home they can lay claim to. In many counties in Illinois, governments cannot increase their levy more than 5% or the rate of inflation from what they levied last year. In nearly all cases, those governments will tax to the maximum rate possible. Zero-based budgeting is never considered. The tax levy discussions are not about what needs to be funded, but how much more they can tax you. To be fair, there are exceptions. Oftentimes, especially with municipalities that have varied funding streams, they may keep the property tax levy flat because they can increase the local sales tax rate, other fees, or know they will receive more money for roads. School districts, on the other hand, will tax to the max every year. But it doesn't have to be this way. Both Indiana and California have a hard property tax cap on the value of your home of 1%. Governor DeSantis has made specific plans to eliminate property taxes for primary homeowners in Florida. Texas Governor Abbott this week rolled out a plan to roll back $10 billion worth of property taxes and give taxpayers more control over any future spending. Back to Illinois. The system is intentionally opaque and unfair, and for Cook County residents, it's especially bad. This week, they will get their property tax bills that were due in August, and that bill will be payable December 15th. A very Merry Christmas for the government. I'm Jeannie Ives. Join me on Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
When it comes to industrial coating and finishing, cutting corners isn't an option. That's why leading manufacturers across the Midwest trust D&D Industrial Coatings in Racine, Wisconsin. From powder coating and liquid painting to blasting and custom finishing, D&D Industrial delivers top-tier protection and performance, fast, precise, and built to last. With over 40 years of experience, ISO-certified processes, and state-of-the-art lines, D&D handles everything from OEMs and petrochemical to agriculture, marine, construction, medical, and government specs. Family-owned, nationally trusted. Whether it's a short run or high volume, your parts are in expert hands, finished on time and finished right. Visit them today, ddindustrial.net. Again, that's ddindustrial.net. Or call them at 262-637-0686 to get your custom quote today. Again, that's 262-637-0686. D&D Industrial Coatings. Engineered to protect. Finished to impress.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay. And it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Eller. Got to watch out for a crash on Route 53. It's on the northbound side at Northwest Highway, and big delays through this area. We're also pretty busy on the outbound side of the Eden, all because of a crash at Church Street. So on the outbound side from Montrose to Lake Cook, it's going to be 24 minutes. Inbound is 15. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 25 minutes. Outbound 43. Inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 24 minutes. Outbound is 22. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 25. Outbound is 19. And doing good both ways on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange. Inbound is 14. Outbound is 11. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies. It's time for Black Friday. Dell Technologies' biggest sale of the year. Enjoy huge savings on gift-worthy accessories and select PCs like the Dell 16 Plus featuring Intel Core Ultra processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will become windier and chilly with cloudy skies and a snow shower in the morning. Clouds will gradually give way to some sunshine in the afternoon with a high of 41. Tonight it will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan. to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. That theme music means it's time for our weekly conversation with the gang at wirepoints.org. All things Illinois policy related. Want to update some developments with respect to immigration law enforcement in Chicagoland. I don't know if there's ever been an issue more demagogued and misrepresented by the Chicago press corps than this one. I mean, it certainly rivals the when defund the police was the zeitgeist after George Floyd. Just a recitation of the facts with respect to that daycare incident. The teacher who, from Columbia, undocumented, says DHS. I've heard all sorts of things. She has a work permit. She is an American citizen. She's undocumented. Still a little bit unclear. I'll go with DHS, but again, I'm still a little peeved that Department of Homeland Security and ICE not doing a better job with comms, providing information. You can remedy this confusion very quickly, not just with the statement, but with evidentiary documentation, which is a matter of public record. But since they continue to, they meaning the political ruling class, as represented. I mean, political ruling class maybe is the wrong terminology because it sounds so august, and yet it contains people like that Little Rascals reject, Mike Quigley, Froggy impersonator. So he's out there continuing to say things like, well, he posted online, which is, ICE isn't going after the worst of the worst. They took a preschool teacher without a warrant in front of children in my district. In front of children, in all caps. Tricia McLaughlin responding, or DHS responding. I assume it's Tricia McLaughlin, but this is just the DHS Gov handle on X. Congressman, you're deliberately misrepresenting the facts. Well, that's what they do. ICE law enforcement did not target a daycare and were only at this location because the female illegal alien fled inside. Here's the real story. Officers attempted to conduct a targeted traffic stop of this female illegal alien from Colombia. Officers attempted to pull over this vehicle, which was registered to a female illegal alien, with sirens and emergency lights, but the male driver refused to pull the vehicle over. Law enforcement pursued the vehicle before the assailant sped into a shopping plaza where he and the female passenger fled the vehicle. They ran into a daycare and attempted to barricade themselves inside the daycare, recklessly endangering the children inside. The illegal alien female was arrested inside a vestibule, not in the school. Upon arrest, she lied about her identity. The vehicle is registered to her. The vehicle is registered in her name, though she claims that she didn't know the man who was driving the car and just picked him up from a bus stop. Wonderful cover story. Facts, including criminality and information on the male assailant, are forthcoming, and we will update the public with more information as soon as it becomes available. Well, chop, chop, DHS. Chop, chop. Other news, since this is all about the huddled masses, and it's not just Chicago, but obviously it includes Chicago. Chicago is the epicenter nationally right now, which is why I expect better comms than we're getting. ICE agents in Chicago this week arrested a Mexican national and former DACA recipient who has amassed a lengthy criminal history that includes violence. Alan Eduardo Garcia's arrest was high risk because of his repeated aggression and attempts to evade arrest. His criminal record includes arrests and convictions. Again, just remember this. Arrests and convictions for somebody in this country illegally. Arrests and convictions for felony strangulation. Not just your customary misdemeanor strangulation. Felony strangulation, domestic battery, disorderly conduct, battery causing bodily injury, and aggravated battery against a handicapped or pregnant woman. And unlawful use of a firearm. He, I ICE actually likely saved his life. He was arrested while fleeing police. They stopped him from jumping off a third-floor balcony in pursuit. But they're just indiscriminately pulling people off the streets or from, daycare centers and disappearing people and so on and so forth. Nonsense. And it demands pushback. And I can just story after story after story. Oh, you don't want federal law enforcement help in Chicago? You don't want it. Oh, we'd like it, but on our terms. Mm-hmm. What's the federal support for law enforcement in Memphis? What's the result there? According to U.S. Marshals, the Memphis Safe Task Force has cleared more than 1,000 Memphis warrants, in addition to locating and safely returning 101 missing children as of Sunday, November 9th. 1,000 arrest warrants waiting to be served, cleared, 101 missing kids found. You don't want that kind of resource surge in Chicago? JB? VJ? Okay. Biden immigration policy is under fire after illegal immigrant with prior DUIs is charged in a 14-year-old's death. Freshman Liam Cantu died, another teen injured after being struck while riding their bikes in Southern California. Preventable crime. Preventable crime. We could do this all day. Illegal immigrant caused DUI collision that killed 22-year-old in tragic hit and run. Witnesses to a fatal crash followed him to a Walgreens, held him until police arrived. This was in New Mexico. All over the country. Gangbangers from TDA arrested on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. ICE captures members of a violent South American theft ring linked to home invasions in Texas. Members of the, quote, South American Theft Group, they've got an acronym now, SATG, South American Theft Group, organized work of foreign nationals, mostly from South Africa, who target wealthy neighborhoods. 4 suspects have been federally indicted. For more on all this, Mark Lennon joins us, the founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org. Mark, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Morning, Dan, and thank you to all the veterans out there.
Absolutely. Your take on the federal, state, local, the interactions here, the reporting here, comparing and contrast what's going on in other places, and even some places where there is, where you have cities that are controlled by members of the same party as the ones here.
It's just astonishing, Dan. And, the one line that jumped out at me is from a Block Club article about the guy that got arrested for shooting at ICE agents. Here's the line. It says, and the context is about this shooting. Legal observers said it was agents who created a dangerous and unsafe environment.
Yeah.
Since when do you have an environment that allows you to shoot at somebody, much less at law enforcement? Who are these legal observers that would say such a thing? Dan, actually, I've kind of stepped back the past few days because of Veterans Day and the reaction to the election and all, and just to make sure I fully digested the full scope of what's going on. We are playing for all the marbles now. This is a full-on coup in process. It's a full attack on Western civilization and the principles behind a democratic republic. It's increasingly violent. It's just whatever it takes attitude from Pritzker and so many others. Dan, actually, one thing that occurred to me, I think the first time I was on your show was in 2012, and I had just started writing. I wrote a story about a Marxist convention, as you may remember, at Northwestern University. And what struck me about it was it was full of teachers, Chicago teachers mostly, Jesse Sharkey on down. But what struck me was, why isn't this getting headlines? These are full-on communists that are teaching our kids, talking up communism. and it didn't sink in. Well, that has metastasized, and you can call it Marxist or communist, whatever it is right now. But we've watched it grow since then, and now a Marxist-style revolution is underway. And oh, by the way, they succeeded in stealing the 2020 election. We shouldn't forget about that. I'm not talking about the ballot box kind of stuff that Trump always talks about, but it was the press colluding with the deep state to suppress information about the Biden laptop and all the Russiagate stuff and everything. That election was decided, remember, by only 40,000 votes spread out among 3 states, a fraction of 1% in those states. Had that stuff not been suppressed, the 2020 election would have been different.
Well, now, just in terms of that Marxist convention at Northwestern, probably didn't get much attention because, every day on the campus at Northwestern is just a big Marxist convention. I know from going there. So it's
right.
What is remarkable about importing a few more. No, but you're absolutely right. And in terms of the stakes here, the socialism piece, this is not directly policy related, but it infuses all of the policy discussions. I wanted to get to this rather interesting interview that Peter Thiel gave to the Free Press, and it goes back. It's sort of prompted by this email that he wrote to the Facebook folk 5 years ago, in which he said that we got a problem with millennial attitudes. He wrote in this email, I would be the last person to advocate for socialism, but when 70% of millennials say they are pro-socialist, we need to do better than simply dismiss them by saying that they are stupid or entitled or brainwashed. We should try and understand why. And from the perspective of a broken generational compact, there seems to be a pretty straightforward answer to me, namely that when one has too much student debt, or if housing is too unaffordable, then one will have negative capital for a long time and or find it very hard to start accumulating capital in the form of real estate. And if one has no stake in the capitalist system, then one may well turn against it. And he gives, more elaboration on that and what's transpired over the last 5 years, culminating with Mamdani's election. I would say, actually, you might too, culminating with Brandon Johnson's election and then Mamdani's election. A couple of points of culmination over the last couple of cycles. But the point he makes about the generational compact being broken and student debt, and that is, particularly salient in Illinois, where not only do you have debt being larded upon debt, federal, state, local, but you also have institutions that you pay for that you don't get access to or benefit from. And that's pronounced, it's particularly pronounced here.
Yeah, that Peter Thiel article interview, I have read it twice, and it's a really good, interesting article. He's an interesting guy, a Trump supporter, but a free thinker. His basic point was that the young people think that the system is not working for them, that capitalism is not working for them, and that we damn well better start paying attention to that perspective. I totally agree with that. It seemed almost that he was going further and saying we ought to give in to some of their demands for free stuff or something. I don't think he meant to say that, but I don't know. But the real point is serious. We've got what perceived to be a Gilded Age again, and it's got to be addressed and recognized. And this is a very dangerous time, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I want to get your reaction to Ken Griffin's comments we discussed last week, but at this business event in Miami, and just the comparison contrast he made, and your perspective on this. I offered mine. On what he was talking about when he compared the failed city-state of Chicago and Illinois to what's going on in Miami and Florida. And part of it is just at a very human level. It's not about financial services. It's not about public policy so much, except how it's reflected in the kinds of conversations you have. And he talks about dinner conversations in Chicago that are dominated by politics, discussions of crime and cronyism and general mismanagement. And in Miami, he is finding very different conversations and a very different attitude among civic-minded and entrepreneurial types in South Florida. And your perspective on that in terms of what you've seen and experienced over the last 10 or 20 years here.
He's spot on, and in fact, we at Wire Points, we interestingly, a third to a half of our readers are out of state. They're mostly expats that follow Illinois anyway. And I hear the same thing from them all the time. I talk to them. People in South Carolina said, we're talking about happy stuff and the school system's improving here and things are going okay. When you're in Chicago, it's also so down when you're going out to lunch, as Ken Griffin said. It's everybody wringing their hands about all the problems we have. And it's a downer, obviously. And you just don't have that when you're down there in those other states, as I've experienced myself. So I'm really glad he said that.
In the immortal words of none other than Martin Sheehan on West Wing.
What is it with people from Chicago that they're so happy to have been born there? I meet so many people who can't wait to tell me they're from Chicago, and when I meet them, they're living anywhere but Chicago.
You wouldn't understand.
Honestly, he's right, and I love that you wouldn't understand. I mean, I sort of don't understand, frankly. But I mean, again, I only had 5 decades here. Mark Glennon, founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Mark, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Right themselves, Dan. Thank you.
They really do. And Mark joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim, where we talk all things retirement. I'm here with my friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, what are the biggest expenses listeners will face in retirement? And please explain the process you take to address these expenses.
Well, Dan, most people think it's healthcare, and it is one of them. But the number one expense in retirement is actually taxes, and that needs to be addressed. Most people have put their money year after year in their tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and IRAs, and they have basically deferred their taxes for a long time. But they've created a tax time bomb, and they don't know it. And that's why we offer the Tax Impact Report.
Tim, so many of us lack a retirement tax plan. For your clients and customers, how do you help map out a tax plan in retirement?
Well, we start with a Tax Impact Report. Most people know how much money they saved for retirement, but they have no idea how much they'll be paying in taxes throughout their retirement. We will run them a report that shows if they default to the IRS's plan, what they will pay in taxes, or they can get ahead of it and mitigate those taxes by being proactive in their tax planning rather than reactive.
Tim, you advertise a complimentary risk assessment report of our listeners' portfolio. Explain what that is, what it reveals, and how AM 560 listeners can sign up for this report.
Dan, we found that many of our listeners do not understand how much risk they have in their underlying portfolio. The strong stock market has made investors lackadaisical in their approach to risk in their hard-earned portfolios. We can ascertain how much risk is actually in their portfolio, and most importantly, show them tools that can help mitigate that risk.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free risk report. That's 1-800-640-2256. Again, that's 800-640-2256. Tell him I sent you when you call 800-640-2256.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 8:08, our latest installment of Why Dan Proft's Single, and I will get to, we got a ton of them. Keep them coming. 312-642-5600 is the call-in and text line. Keep them coming. I'm talking about veterans organizations you want recognized on this Veterans Day. We'll get to that, too. It is now 8 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
The government shutdown is close to ending.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
And I'm relieved. But the people now that are going to get paid and fed and millions of Americans, they're going to be flying now, that's going to be made more safe and restored.
Senator John Fetterman on Fox the morning after he joined 6 other Democrats and an independent, breaking ranks with the party, voting with Republicans to approve funding through January 30th. The House plans to vote on that tomorrow. It would also fund SNAP food assistance through September. GOP Congressman Byron Donalds tells Fox,
"It is a travesty that Democrats took us this far down the road, but now we're going to reopen the government. We're going to get back to business."
Many Democrats are angry, calling for the Senate's minority leader, Chuck Schumer, to step down, though he wasn't among the 8 who sided with the Republicans. The Senate does plan a vote next month on what Democrats have demanded, extending Obamacare tax credits set to expire at the end of the year. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says millions of Americans will be affected.
In some cases, their health insurance premiums will increase by $1,000 or $2,000 per year. That is unacceptable.
Well, until the shutdown's over, air traffic controllers keep working without pay. Some have called out sick, taking second jobs, leading to a lot of flight cancellations and delays, nearly 2,000 more today. President Trump's critical of those controllers and praising the others.
I want to reward the people that showed up without a lot of nonsense, without a lot of talk. They did their job, and in many cases, they worked longer hours to get us through this period.
Telling Fox he's wanted to give them a $10,000 bonus. It is Veterans Day, and as Americans thank those who've served our country, there is also this.
A coalition of retired military nurses and others are working to get World War II nurses awarded for their service. The campaign to honor them with the Congressional Gold Medal, the nation's highest civilian honor, comes 80 years after the war ended. A bipartisan group of lawmakers have joined the cause, which faces long odds. It needs 2/3 of each chamber.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is a very chilly 29 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Cancellations and delays are continuing to pile up this morning at Chicago's airports. Chicago O'Hare has seen more than 100 flights canceled this morning, while many more are experiencing delays. Midway Airport has seen about half that number. Meanwhile, the FAA has called for airlines to cut flights by another 6% today. Now, this is in response to the lack of traffic controllers due to the government shutdown. Relief may be in sight, though, as U.S. senators voted to pass a governmental spending bill last night by a vote of 60 to 40. That measure will likely be voted on by the House of Representatives tomorrow. Should it pass in the House, the government funding to programs such as SNAP, Head Start, and federal workers should resume shortly thereafter. A Mexican national has been arrested in connection with the shooting the Department of Homeland Security says was targeted at U.S. Border Patrol agents here in Chicago. DHS says the suspect was in the country illegally and it had previous convictions for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and felony possession of a weapon. According to federal officials, 9 people were arrested over the weekend after attackers attempted to ram federal vehicles and threw bricks and paint cans at Border Patrol agents in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood. And today is Veterans Day. Closures include federal, state, and local governmental offices. The post office is closed. Most banks are closed, and all Chicago area public schools are closed today. This report is sponsored by AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes, but time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
NVIDIA shares are losing ground after Japan-based tech investor SoftBank sold its entire $5.8 billion stake in NVIDIA. It's not a sign that SoftBank is losing confidence in NVIDIA. SoftBank is raising cash because it plans to invest another $22.5 billion into OpenAI before January. Paramount Skydance is planning more cuts and will invest $1.5 billion into its streaming and studio divisions. Paramount is home of CBS, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, and the Paramount Studio. It made more from its streaming service Paramount Plus in the recent quarter. Levi's says it will sell a new line of $300 jeans in more stores next year because they're selling. They launched in the U.S. in September. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
Today, we say thank you to all our veterans for protecting our country. We say thank you for the sacrifice you made to keep us safe. We say thank you for serving with honor. We say thank you for being ready at a moment's notice. We say thank you for representing the best of America. And we say thank you for protecting our families from harm. To all veterans, we honor and thank you today and every day. AM 560, The Answer. Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Let me take a moment to talk about my friends at QC Kinetics. They're helping so many listeners regain their mobility free from joint pain. Does this sound like you? Where every time you move, it's a reminder of what hurts? A reminder of how far you've drifted from the life you once had? Well, relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from surgery. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli and her team tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain at its source. Stop masking the pain. Let QC Kinetics help you regain what pain took away. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment. And for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. It's a great time to book your free consultation to learn how QC Kinetics can help. Call 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. Once more, that phone number, 312-827-6261, and tell them I sent you when you call.
Why would you take your precious metal collections to some fly-by-night roadshow that rolls into town once a year? The only thing you need to do is follow the road to Fox Valley Coins and show your gold or silver to Marlin and the team. Gold is at an all-time historical high, so don't keep sitting on your coin hoards or old jewelry that you've been saving to sell when the time is right. The time is right now. Prices have never been better on most collector and gold coins. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is trying to keep up with demand. So they're paying the most ever on not only most gold coins in bars, but also those old coin collections. You might have scarce dates or higher grade coins, so take advantage of the record high market price and the demand now. Whether you're buying or selling, or just want to find out values, trust the team at Fox Valley Coins. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Take the journey of living a happy, successful, and meaningful life through God. Listen to It's Time with Dan Lights, Sunday mornings at 9 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Stop and go delays with a crash on the northbound side of Route 53 at Northwest Highway. Delays go all the way back to the Jane Addams, just bumper to bumper. And good news on the outbound side of the Eden. An accident has been cleared at Church Street, but it's still going to cost you 27 minutes to go from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound looks good at just 16 minutes. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn interchange is 32 minutes. Outbound, though, real slow at 51. The Tri-State northbound inbound, you have some slowdowns getting onto the outbound Eisenhower, and on the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the old post office is 24 minutes. Outbound is 32. The Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 32 minutes. Outbound is 26. And still in decent shape both ways on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn interchange. Inbound is 16. Outbound is 12. Traffic is a service of Farm to Veteran. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will become windier and chilly with a mix of clouds and sun. A snow shower is expected this morning, followed by clearing skies in the afternoon. The high will reach 41. Tonight will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
Yeah, gather around. Let's bring it in. Top of the morning on this installment, and we will get to more veteran stuff. Got a lot of material to go through, but this is mission critical as well. I want to provide some legal counsel because of this story of an effort that a 34-year-old woman is making to litigate their breakup.
A 34-year-old woman is demanding her ex-boyfriend pay compensation, claiming he stole her childbearing years. After nearly a decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when relationships end.
Brother. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Yes, 34-year-old woman telling the Telegraph's moral money advice column she believes her ex-boyfriend should pay for IVF or egg freezing after breaking up with her at the tender age of 34. He tells me, this is a quote from her, he tells me he feels at 38 as though he still has a decade of enjoying his lifestyle and powering through his career and is not ready for marriage or children, but he knows it has become a priority for me, so he's off. Bye-bye. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Yes, does he bear financial responsibility for robbing her of her childbearing years? I agree. I don't think that's an actionable claim quite yet, but the way that the courts are going these days with certain jurists on the bench. Here I am at 34, she says, eggs twitching, ready for marriage and parenthood, ready for the marriage and parenthood stage of life, but unexpectedly single and emotionally devastated. I'm tipping into the furious phase of the grief cycle because I feel as though he owes me big time and I want him to pay. So then you're not just going to be good friends? She explained she had made some career sacrifices to accommodate her ex's ambitions, as they had verbally agreed that he would be the primary earner should they have children. Now, she fumed, I feel like these compromises have left me vulnerable, and I'm seeking compensation. Surely he should have some responsibility for helping me mitigate the damage to our plans caused by his change of heart and broken promises. What do you think? Compensation? Parting gifts? I'm not exactly, like, she made compromises in her career, but they don't have any kids. What's the compromise? she didn't seek a promotion because she thought that it was going to be time to have kids, and he decided. I mean, doesn't I guess? Wait, I thought. Wait, that's right. Oh, changing her mind is the woman's prerogative, not the dude's. Got it. There's, divided opinion on this, as you heard from that commentator. One person saying the obvious, right? I thought, thanks to the women's lib movement, that women are strong and independent, making their own decisions, making their own honeys, making money, and blah, 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 blah. So which is it? Do you have agency and you can make decisions? I mean, if you don't like the way the relationship is going, or if he's taking too long to get off the dime, then, the door opens in and out, doesn't it? Joe in Schaumburg.
She had an agenda, and if she was a better person, she would have had the foresight to know who was in front of her. She wouldn't have, she would have done this way earlier. And the guy who scrammed, he got bored and bye.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Joe. Right. I mean, we're and by the way, just as we're hearing one side of the story, right? I just to frame it properly, she's the one who presented her view of what happened and why it happened to this advice column that, and then the story goes wild because she goes viral because, of course, she's demanding compensation, and that's the rub, of course. But I mean, we're charged with sort of accepting her version of events as the complete and total accounting of the relationship, and there may be more to it. You know what I mean? Jim in LaGrange.
Yeah, and I'd like to know how much money you have set aside personally for similar litigation. We don't know a lot about that, but I'm just curious. Maybe a round number somewhere. Thanks, yeah.
I self-insure. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Boy, that could be a whole cottage industry in the insurance business, right? In the insurance sector. Indemnifying yourself against breakups. Larry in Elmhurst, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Hey, the guy loses every time because even if they were married, she got pregnant and had an abortion. Guy couldn't do nothing about it anyway.
Well, yeah, but thanks for the call. But she did express a desire to have children at 34, and she, the clock is ticking. Clearly, her words. Not verbatim, but that's what she said. Ready to move to the having kids and parenting stage of life. That's what she said. Jordan in Antioch.
Morning, Dan. Yeah, I'd like to hear his side. So kudos to them for hanging on and planning on having kids, but how do we not know that this guy was just still in that feeling out process, and all of a sudden it got to that point where he's like, this chick's a total psycho hose beast, and she outs me for every inadequacy I have to her hot yoga class, and I just cannot fathom the idea of rearing children with this complete psycho. And I'm out, and I'm going to hang with the boys like that one article. I'm just going to hang out with the boys, possibly be gay. I don't know. It's not going to be with you.
It sounds like you know her ex-boyfriend, Jordan.
No, well, yeah. I might know a couple guys who are in that position. Yeah. So I'd like to hear his side. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Jordan. Yeah. I stared into the abyss. And then I step back. Yeah. A related story, just in terms of the pool out there and what's influencing the minds of the distaff side, perhaps, some of them, certainly, because they're writing about it and posting about it incessantly, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? A piece in British Vogue. Oh, that's one level up from just the regular Vogue. Shantae. Joseph starts the article that she mutes or unfollows women if their social media feeds start becoming boyfriendified. She is noticing the shift online where many women are muting commentary about their boyfriends because it's embarrassing to have one. Somebody posted having a boyfriend feels Republican, and that was supposed to be, it's like, a criticism, like negative. But it is sort of interesting if this is true. I don't know because I don't pay any attention to this sort of content, but she argues in British Vogue about the question, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? And basically it's a rhetorical question. The general answer is yes. That's the point they're getting to. Otherwise it wouldn't be published in British Vogue. She says that for a long time, social media was a place where women were praised for getting into a relationship. But now, and this is one way to try to become an influencer and get content and brand deals and so on and so forth. But now, recently coupled up women are more frequently taking the approach of a soft launch, low-key social media relationship. More recently, there's been a pronounced shift in the way people showcase their relationships online. Far from fully hard-launching romantic partners, straight women, are opting for subtler signs, a hand on a steering wheel, clinking glasses at dinner, or the back of someone's head, she writes. This is so nihilistic silliness. Anyway, I'll continue. She writes that, to me, it feels like the result of women wanting to straddle two worlds. One where they can receive the social benefits of having a partner, but also not appear so boyfriend obsessed that they come across as quite culturally loserish. Yes, I'm pulled in two directions. I'm stuck in, God's little acre between the rock and the hard place. I don't want to be a cultural loser, but I want the social, financial benefits of part. She writes, though, obviously there's no shame in falling in love, but there's also no shame in trying and failing to find it or not trying at all. And as long as we're openly rethinking and criticizing heteronormativity, yes, indeed, some of these ex-boyfriends, as Jordan mentioned, might be reconsidering heteronormativity after hooking up with one of these. Having a boyfriend will remain a somewhat fragile or even contentious concept within public life. Yes, it's so controversial. Anthony and Joliet.
Yeah, I'd say the glass is half full on this one. He dodged a bullet. So, good news for him.
Yeah, so long as there's not some plaintiff's attorney doesn't come up with a creative way to get inserted in legislation somewhere to create a protected class of women who have dated a guy for a certain amount of years with the expectation that they were going to have kids, and then that didn't happen, and so there is civil legal exposure. So yeah, if you're better make while the sun is out on this one. Okay, enough silliness. We'll come back and we'll talk about men and women of honor who served our country. Dan Proft, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Sean Morrison, owner of Morrison Security Corporation. Here in Chicagoland, we see it all. Rising crime, civil unrest, and growing concerns for the safety of our families, our schools, our places of worship, and our businesses. Every American has a right, the Second Amendment right, to protect what matters most. At Morrison Security, we take that responsibility seriously. For over 25 years, we've been on the front lines, providing licensed, highly trained security officers, men and women committed to professionalism, reliability, and results. We stand for truth, honesty, and integrity, and we bring those values to every client we protect. Whether you need coverage for a school, a church, a retail location, construction site, or corporate facility, our mission is simple: protect people and property with excellence and accountability. Morrison Security Corporation. Protection you can trust, integrity you can count on. I am Sean Morrison, and you have my word, honesty and integrity always. Visit morrisonsecurity.com. That's morrisonsecurity.com.
Let me take a moment to talk about my friends at QC Kinetics. They're helping so many listeners regain their mobility free from joint pain. Does this sound like you? Where every time you move, it's a reminder of what hurts, a reminder of how far you drifted from the life you once had? Well, relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from surgery. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli and her team tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain at its source. Stop masking the pain. Let QC Kinetics help you regain what pain took away. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment. And for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. It's a great time to book your free consultation to learn how QC Kinetics can help. Call 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261. Again, that number, 312-827-6261. And tell them I sent you when you call.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I give up. Where are they?
Who?
Employees.
What?
You say Hassleus Mattress Showrooms don't have any employees. Come on, bud. I know better.
I assure you.
Are they cooped up in a secret back room?
Huh?
Or waiting outside in the bushes?
Sir.
I know. They're hiding under the beds, aren't they?
Listen, Hassleus Mattress Showrooms really are employee-free. Give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Nope, don't believe it.
You won't believe our prices either. Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more for way less.
Right.
Others sell a King Aspen Cove A for $2,520, but our everyday low Hassleus price is just $1,374. Free next day delivery too.
Sure. Next you'll say I can get a free adjustable base with my purchase through Monday.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Oh, come on.
Save on Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest, plus get a free adjustable base. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. You heard my warning. Illinois tax amnesty is live now. It started October 1st and ends November 17th. For a short window, pay your qualifying back taxes, and the state will wipe out penalties and interest. No strings attached. But when November 17th hits, this deal is gone. If you're a 1099 worker, contractor, or small business owner, timing is everything. You need clear steps fast. Here's what to do. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my free daily email. You'll get plain English updates, action steps, what qualifies, and the common mistakes that can cost you thousands. Free, daily, straight to your inbox. Get the free daily email now and follow along. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for the free daily email. That's fightbacknow.com, your step-by-step guide before the clock runs out November 17th.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com. Calculate how you could keep more of your hard-earned money and give less to Uncle Sam, especially in retirement. Get your free tax analysis today at willsave.com. And don't forget to tune in to Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman every Saturday morning at 8, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Priority Tax Relief.
Attention taxpayers, if you owe $5,000 or more, have fallen behind on filings, or missed an IRS deadline, you're already on the IRS's radar. The IRS has resumed aggressive collections. That means wage garnishments, bank levies, even seizures of your home, car, or retirement accounts. If you owe $5,000 or more and missed the deadline, you're stacking new debt on top of what you already owe. Call Priority Tax Relief now. Their experts fight back fast and save their clients millions in tax debt every month.
I owed over $50,000, and they settled it for pennies on the dollar. These guys are legit.
After speaking on my behalf with the IRS, my entire debt of $25,000 will be eliminated.
Call for your free consultation. 800-697-3208. 800-697-3208.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Priority Tax Relief.
AM 560.
The Answer.
All right, let's get some veteran stories in here. Roger DeKalb, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Happy Veterans Day, all veterans. I'd like to give a Semper Fi out to my 92-year-old father. His name is Cliff Seldell. He went to Korea in December of 1952, so he was there for the last 7 months of the conflict, right at the front lines with the 1st Marine Division, and then he was stationed there for a year after that. He would never, ever talk about his service, and he was the kind of guy that you could ask him, and he'd kind of brush it off that he was in reconnaissance and he ran telephone lines. That's what he'd always say. And then about 20 years ago, my nephew was interviewing for him for a school project, and he opened up and he said, well, I took pictures while I was there. He had taken a Brownie camera with him, the little square Brownie Kodak camera, and he took a couple of dozen pictures. He has pictures of the aftermath of the wave attacks, of prisoners of war, bodies charred. It is some of the most gruesome things you've ever seen. But the ones of the wave attacks, you hear about that, but when you see a panoramic view of a whole hillside where people are just stacked 2-3 feet high for as far as you can see. It's just, it's no wonder those people that never wanted to talk about that. So my dad was a great dad, great businessman. People that work for him loved him. He considers his time in the Marines foundational to his life. He's a God, country, and family man. So have a good Veterans Day, you veterans.
Awesome. Thank you, Roger. That's great. That's awesome. I mean, the sort of the war is hell piece of it too. Geez. Bill in Waukegan.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. I just recently got back from Europe, and the coolest thing I saw was the American Cemetery in Luxembourg, where General George S. Patton is buried. But I called originally just to talk about my uncle who served in Korea. And I tell you, he was only 19 when he went, and his first battle experience was he got shot with a machine gun 4 times in his leg, and up his leg, and they were supposed to amputate his leg, and he said no. And I tell you, he's still one of the bravest men that I know, and he's my idol, and he's the reason I joined the Army. And all my Army vets, I mean, all my service members that are out there, thank you for your service. I did 41 years. It's still the best thing I ever did, and I finally got to go back to Germany to see my first post, my first assignment, and I tell you, it was just very humbling, and I appreciate everybody's service. And Dan, thanks for taking my call, and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Mike Mokina.
Yeah, shout out to all the veterans. I'm in the middle of a 5-generation of military family. My grandfather served with the Allies during World War I. My father served in the Pacific, World War II, came home with 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. I was in the Air Force during Vietnam. My son was in the Navy during Desert Storm, and my grandson did 2 tours in Afghanistan in the Marines. I have also a grandson-in-law who's a chaplain in the Air Force and stationed in Indiana right now. So that's God bless them, and may they all find themselves happy on this day.
Thanks so much, Mike. Thank you for your multi-generational service. Text from 630. Today we celebrate Veterans Day, and a special veteran, World War II veteran Dwayne Stevenson's birthday is today, and he's 102 years old. He still lives alone, drives himself to the American Legion Post 342 in St. Charles for Saturday morning coffee, and was just honored with 37 other vets at a special honor flight Chicago at Cantini Park in Wheaton. One part of his service was being stationed in Hiroshima after the war. Cannot imagine what he must have seen at that duty. We are honored at that duty station. We are honored by his service to our country. Indeed, Dwayne Stevenson, 102 years old. Wow. All right, we'll get to more of these before the hour is out. But coming up at 8:38, we're going to talk a little bit more about the AI revolution, trying to get more perspective on this, because it seems like it's going to be a life-altering event professor and director of Mason Autonomy and Robotics Center at George Mason University. Missy Cummings joins us at 8:38. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 30 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A Mexican national has been arrested in connection with a shooting the Department of Homeland Security says was targeted at U.S. Border Patrol agents here in Chicago. DHS says that the suspect was in the country illegally and had several prior convictions. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin was one of a handful of Democratic senators to vote to reopen the government. Durbin acknowledged that the short-term solution wasn't perfect, but said it takes important steps to reduce the shutdown's hurt. Durbin says the minibus package would fully fund SNAP benefits for the year ahead and would also reverse the mass firings that the Trump administration had ordered throughout the shutdown. And a semi-truck driver is recovering from non-life-threatening injuries after his truck was hit by a train yesterday. According to reports, that semi became stuck on the tracks due to heavy snow in the area. The driver managed to escape just before a Norfolk and Southern freight train hit the semi. News is a service of Quick Delivery Service. Make Quick Delivery Service your personal ground crew anytime, anywhere, any place. When you need to move your shipment or freight, Quick Delivery will get it there. Get a quote in advance and eliminate any surprises at quickdelivery.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher is still amazed by Trump derangement syndrome.
For the life of me, I think I understand it. I mean, I understand it gets very personal for people, and I feel so sorry for people who are this unhappy because an election didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. But to have this kind of rage against a person that so many people love.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank that cares about your business and is invested in your success. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Chris Johnson, CEO of Classic Cinemas and proud customer of Signature Bank. We are a local family-owned business that is known for free refills on all sizes of popcorn, soft drinks, and ices. With over 9,000 heated recliners in 16 locations, we marry the traditions of the past with today's state-of-the-art technology. Throw in a 30-minute guarantee and an after-movie mint, and you have the perfect night out. As we strive to make every guest our priority, Signature Bank does the same with their customers. The team at Signature Bank is interested in taking my company forward. They have all the resources and solutions of the big banks, but they customize their offerings to meet my business needs. The customer always comes first with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey AM 560 listeners, Jeff checking in again from jeffbuysyourhouse.com. What I learned serving our great nation in the military is that every mission is unique and success starts with listening. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led house buying team has taken the time to understand what matters most to each homeowner we serve. Every home has a story and every seller has different needs. Whether you want a quick closing or need extra time to find your next place, we customize our approach around what works best for you. That's how we've earned hundreds of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the BBB, by putting relationships first. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, and you pick the closing date that works best for your schedule. At jeffbuysyourhouse.com, we're here to help you through the entire transition, not just the transaction. Are you ready to work with a local team that takes the time to understand your home selling needs? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us today at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
Is your tech a train wreck? Slow computers in the office? Printers won't connect? Clueless support team that only asks, "Have you tried clearing the cache?" At Unique Computing Solutions, we cut through the chaos fast. Reliable support and real solutions from a team that actually understands your business. Take control of your tech today. Visit our website at uniquecomputingsolutions.com. That's uniquecomputingsolutions.com. Your IT challenges solved.
When the power goes out, life stops. Heat, AC, fridge, phones, all gone. But with a Generac home standby generator from True Power Generator Service, your home powers back on automatically, so you're never left in the dark. Book your consultation today at TruePowerGenerator.com. That's TruePowerGenerator.com. Plus, 560 listeners get a free 10-year extended warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Call for details. True Power Generator Service and Generac. It's not just a generator, it's a power move.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. It's slow on the outbound Eden from Montrose to Lake Cook, 27 minutes, all because of a collision at Toohey Avenue. Inbound is 16. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange is 32 minutes. Outbound is 44. The Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 21 minutes. Outbound is 35. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 29 minutes. Outbound is 21. And you're doing okay both ways on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange. It's 14 minutes. Now the exit ramp on the outbound Bishop Ford to get onto the westbound side of Sibley Boulevard is closed with repair work. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where they offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will become windier and chilly with cloudy skies and a snow shower in the morning. Clouds will gradually give way to some sunshine in the afternoon with a high of 41. Tonight it will be mainly clear and breezy with a low of 36. Tomorrow will be breezy with plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. A couple more texts recognizing veterans organizations today on this Veterans Day. Text from 312, Dad served in New Guinea in World War II. Get a few more of them. Let's see. Happy Veterans Day. I grew up in Canada, came here legally at 23 after marrying my high school sweetheart. Canada acted patriotic, but it wasn't until I lived here that I truly understood service, pride, and taking a stand. Thank you to my father-in-law and so many others I love who have been an example of why I'm so proud to be an American. That's Jolene in North Canton, Ohio. Thank you for that. We had some great anecdotes too about military families and recognizing members of families that served in the military. Text from 320. Shout out to my brother Art Molinar, who served 2 tours in the Air Force, and my daughter Stacy and her Army unit currently serving in Kuwait. All right, great. Hope your daughter stays safe overseas. We'll get a few more in here because our next guest actually is somebody we have to thank as well. She is a Navy veteran. Try to get some of the World War II vets in here. Text from 815, would like to remember my uncle Dean Brainerd, a World War II vet who passed November 1st at the age of 98 and a half. Sorry for your loss. Great. World War II veterans. Let's see. Sorry, this texting thing isn't as easy to scroll through as it could be. I need some sort of AI support, I think. Another text from 815. Happy Veterans Day to my fellow veterans. My dad served in the Army, World War II. My brother was in the Marines for Vietnam, and I served stateside in the United States Air Force. Okay. We'll get to more before the hour is out, but now I want to turn our conversation over to another veteran. Her name is Missy Cummings. She was one of the first female fighter pilots in the Navy. Professor and director of Mason Autonomy and Robotics Center at George Mason University. Now, we're going to talk a little AI. Missy Cummings, thanks so much for joining us, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for that. Thanks.
Okay. This is sort of an interesting piece. I wanted to get your sort of reaction to. It's a bit, I don't know, metaphysical, but I mean, a lot of the conversations surrounding AI need to be the sort of the ethics of it, if you will. It's a piece by an academic from King's College in London named Carl Hendrick. And the question is, are we approaching a Turing test for teaching? He cites a physicist, Roger Penrose, who proposed the radical idea that consciousness does not obey the known laws of physics, which most scientists reject. But he goes through and poses this question, making a darker reading of AI. If teaching becomes demonstrably algorithmic, if learning is shown to be a process that machines can master, then Penrose's ghost returns with a different question. What does it mean for human expertise when the thing we most value about ourselves, our ability to understand and to help others understand, turns out to be computable after all? Not insight, but instruction. And if instruction is algorithmic, then what exactly is left that makes human teachers irreplaceable? What do you think about that?
I think he needs to quit smoking weed or whatever it is, too much ketamine,
Okay, all right. I like that.
I just think the whole AI consciousness crowd needs to take a huge step back and just shut up, because we are nowhere near that.
Okay.
All AI is in the current form where, this is generative AI, this is large language models or vision language models, or just fill in the blank, some big X large model, and it's just linear algebra on steroids. Now, I don't want to minimize it. It is a very useful tool in that it picks up patterns. But the thing about all of these language models, or even foundation models, they're looking for the next most frequent word, action, bit, byte, pixel. So you're always regressing to the mean on all of these models. You are never going to get uniqueness. You are never going to get out of the box, quote unquote, thinking. They're just really impressive linear algebra computations.
But wait a second. I saw Elon Musk sort of dancing with an autonomous Optimus humanoid. And I'm led to believe from some quarters that, they're going to be taking care of our senior citizens and working as housekeepers, and ultimately they'll get a toehold and they'll kill us all and take over our homes and live our lives for us. But I don't know about that last part. But I mean, the humanoids that are being marketed right now, Neo and others, is that not a coming thing?
No, it's not a thing. And what this is it's especially the humanoid robots in the home. It's really more akin to P.T. Barnum than anything else. The Neo robot is being teleoperated. And to be fair to the company, they're very upfront about that.
Right.
If you want somebody who is remotely connected and doing all of your chores in your house, then great. If you're willing to pay $20,000, so you're letting the company mature their technology and you're basically paying to give them your data and your privacy, go right ahead. That as a person who's been working in robotics for a couple of decades, we're not even close to a place where humanoids can operate in unstructured environments like the home. And I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about self-driving cars is that they're also all being remotely babysitted 24/7. They all need humans to help them in difficult or even what we would consider simple but difficult for them situations. So
yeah, Musk said on the cars piece, and I know you've opined on accidents and like involving Teslas and so. But Musk said something interesting recently, talking about it's basically what he said is it's easy to make a autonomous car that drives good, it's very, very difficult to make an autonomous car that drives, very, very good, and essentially like, human level. But the flip side is the studies that are being bandied about that suggest that fatalities or the accident rate with respect to autonomous cars versus human-driven cars is like 5 times less with autonomous cars.
Well, I take issue with those numbers. I've also done my own study. If I'm being kind to the self-driving industry, specifically Waymo, they look to be in very limited environments, which are in urban environments going slow. They're on par, their safety is on par with that of Uber and Lyft drivers, which is to say that it's about 4 to 6 times worse than your average driver who is not driving for Uber and Lyft. I mean, that actually should just raise some issues. I was in Chicago not that long ago, and I had a Uber driver scare me to death, right? So, indeed, if Chicago had self-driving cars, would I take an Uber? Maybe, except that, what they don't do well with is snow, which you guys just got a ton of.
Right.
You're not going to get self-driving cars anytime soon.
So that's interesting, actually, just that other data point. So Uber, Lyft drivers are 4 to 6 times, what was the stat, worse than or higher accident incidents than non, Uber, Lyft drivers?
I know, it's crazy, and I've been jumping up and down for years trying to get the federal government to pay attention to this, but nobody's willing to step into that. And the problem is they're on their phones. I mean, you're not supposed to be on your phone, but they're forced to be on their phone. And indeed, they're given limited time to respond to new ride requests, for example. And so the whole environment is just set up to make them worse drivers. So I think
that's interesting.
But the government doesn't want to.
Okay, so if we're not going to have excellent autonomous, self-driving cars, and we're not going to have humanoids in the home, what are we? Where are we going? What's the next stage with all these data centers being built and all this venture capital being deployed and so forth?
Well, people keep talking about a bubble that it's going to burst. I think we are at a huge overhype moment, and I would tell all the listeners, look, nobody's losing their job. There isn't, this big revolution on the future where everything is being turned over to automation. Indeed, one of the things that we're seeing is we need more and more human babysitting. So there are new kinds of jobs being created while these for example, if you want to turn over some of your back-end office tasks to generative AI, we're finding out, well, then you need humans to fix all the problems that they introduce. So I think everybody needs to take a deep breath. The industry, that is to say the AI industry, is desperate for cash. They need you to buy their products. And they also are trying to scare the government into propping them up with more money. They don't have the money to continue at the rate that they're going. So at some point, the data centers are going to go away, and you're going to see this, there'll be some new quantum something that replaces the crazy hype of AI. But hopefully what we're going to be left with is an understanding and access to tools that are actually helpful. There are potential good AI education. If you can't get any education at all, it is probably better for you to get some AI tutoring than to have nothing.
And the idea that you're going to have AI-driven, say urban centers, where these sort of big systems that operate in silos now are going to be fully integrated and being run 24/7, so you have no lag time in terms of response, and you have sort of constant assessments being done about your water supply or power grid and so on and so forth, and these systems are going to talk to one another in the way they don't now, and it's going to improve efficiency and safety, and it will reduce the need for, say, 30,000 city employees in Chicago. I mean, is that all sort of pie in the sky stuff as well?
It's not happening. And indeed, the instant, and I just released a new paper about the dangers of putting anything to do with generative AI in safety critical systems. We should absolutely never, 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 let me underscore never, allow any kind of generative AI to have access to power grids, water supplies, any critical infrastructure. This is a hard line. These things hallucinate. Indeed, they cannot not hallucinate, meaning they make errors depending on the application, 20 to 80% of the time. But we cannot have an electrical grid that has a 1 in 5 chance of making a mistake. That's just not going to be tenable for society. And the thing that people need to realize, it's what I said before, none of this AI knows anything about truth. AI doesn't know, doesn't think, doesn't reason, doesn't understand. It just does a prediction, and many times that prediction is wrong. And so if any city is dumb enough to do this, then I promise you that whoever made that decision is going to get voted out of office when there's no power and no water.
So because all this stuff, I mean, from a novice, this is all sort of under the heading of machine learning, and machine learning is presented as this sort of fantastic and virtually flawless a process that allows AI to not only know everything we know and more, but be quicker and more accurate in their decision making, because they're always constantly improving based on a body of knowledge, and and it never sleeps the way that human beings have to, and so on and so forth. And you're saying, well, it's not as infallible as it's presented.
No, it's extremely fallible. And indeed, if you actually read between the lines, you will hear, for example, Sam Altman has even admitted this, but it's not something they're pushing on the larger scale because it's not advantageous to their bottom line. They need you to buy more subscriptions. They want you to buy the premium subscriptions. And the more that you think that it's going to do all of these things, the more that you're going to purchase their product. But the reality is companies are starting to ban the use of this technology because it's introducing so many errors. And indeed, I hear all the time as a professor, well, maybe it can't do well at operating something, but we'll have it generate code. And indeed, that's a big, big concern, because not only is the code that these things generated, if it has any kind of complexity, it's typically wrong, but also this is a great way for the
Did we Missy? Did we lose her? Where's Missy? Oh.
And so
I'm sorry, Missy, you cut out for a second there. I'm sorry. You were just talking about. We lost you for a second when you were talking about generative AI doing coding and the concern there.
Yeah, it introduces huge security risk because the Chinese are smart. They do something called data poisoning. They know how to slip in malicious lines of code into the places that generative AI goes to look for code. And so now we have a whole new huge security risk in terms of it is very likely that Chinese, Russian, North Korea are figuring out how to slip in malicious coding inside of the code that my students are so dumb they cut and paste. And by the way, they're not just my students, it's everybody working at these companies who thinks that AI is going to help them get their job done faster.
Really, really interesting perspective. Appreciate it. Missy Cummings, former Navy pilot, professor, director of Mason Autonomy and Robotics Center at George Mason University. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Missy Cummings joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're looking for a caring dentist and an experienced dental staff who'll treat you like family, then it's time to call Dr. Y at Oak Lawn Dental LLC. Dr. Yorks and his team will create a smile that you'll want to share with family and friends. Go to oaklawn.dentist.com for a complete list of services or call Oak Lawn Dental for an appointment with Dr. Y at 708-424-5700. And for a limited time, get a $100 credit on your new account. Call 708-424-5700. Oak Lawn Dental LLC for the smile you deserve.
Looking for some hope? Listen to Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. Weekday mornings starting at 8. AM 560. The Answer.
Boy, it's very interesting. Missy Cummings, that certainly brings us down and back onto terra firma with respect to expectations about AI. We're going to have to do some kind of forum or roundtable at some point here and get everybody to debate some of these topics. Anyway, thanks for joining us on another edition of Chicago's Morning Answer. Thank you to all our veterans. Have a happy Veterans Day. It is now 9 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
Tomorrow might be the last day of the government shutdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I am truly